Very good. I call to order the Etna Township Board of Trustees regular meeting here on Tuesday, April 15th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Evans?
Here.
Mr. Burkholder?
Here.
Ms. McKee?
Here. Would you please send an invocation, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Please stand and bow your head. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thy is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Mr. Evans, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for coming tonight. If at any time you have to take a phone call or if you need to use the restroom, just feel free to go ahead and do so. We just ask that you do it quietly. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second? I will second the agenda, and I move to change the limit on debate in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order. That is section 43, paragraph 16, limiting the speech regarding the items tonight. One speech and 3 minutes per speech for all the trustees. Is there a second to that motion? Discussion.
Are you looking to amend that now or for discussion on the agenda?
No, that is an amendment now, and that will apply to the entire session, not to a single question.
Okay,
So
regarding discussion here, since I got 3 minutes, again, the board members, Burkholder and McKee, do everything they can.
Mr. Evans, Mr.
limit
Evans, you're out of order.
speech. No,
Come
I'm
to
not
order.
out of
Yes,
order.
you
This
are,
is
according
discussion
to
on this.
Robert's Rules of Order.
So,
You
again,
are
they
to
want
refrain.
to
You are to
limit.
refrain from attacking a member's
You
motives.
want to
You
limit
are out of
speech. You would adjourn in the middle of sentences, so now
Come
you're
to order,
doing
Mr.
as
Evans.
Ms. McKee did prior
Come to order,
to
Mr.
limit
Evans.
speech of another equal trustee. You cannot stand to have the truth discussed and exposed, just like you're trying to get other members of the community
Mr.
to
Evans,
silence me
Mr. Evans,
online.
you are out of order.
I am not, and I believe I've got some more time. This
We're
is
out of
what this board is all about, silencing any information to the public. That's why we don't have live streaming. That's why we don't have social media to let people know what's going on.
You're out
And that's why we don't have the items on this agenda for all to.
Point of order has the floor. You do not have the floor,
Point of
Mr.
order.
Everett. Point of order has the floor. Go
Let's
ahead,
vote on
Trustee
this
McKee.
3 minute per trustee.
Wow. What's
Mr.
that?
Evans?
We'll vote on it. Let's just vote.
Let him finish his 3 minutes under discussion. However, you are out of order, Mr. Evans. You are not to address issues that are past. You are to address the issues that are pending on the agenda according to Robert's Rules of Order. You are out of order.
You
You need to come to order and focus on what we have just had a motion on.
You attempted to have an individual remove my posts and comments online because you're afraid to discuss it in public and you don't want the truth to come out. And even here, you want to limit it to 3 minutes because you can't stand any discussion. Both of you repeatedly deny agenda items that are needed, and then the next week we have to have them because it's needed. It's ridiculous, the mismanagement and actually corruption of this board.
You are out of order for attacking members of this board. You know it according to Robert's Rules of Order. You have 30 seconds
I also
left,
know
and we will
Ohio
move
Revised
on.
Code that the other 2 board members routinely violate, and I think that
You're out
supersedes
of order
Robert's
attacking other board
rules.
members. It does not. That's
It's
what we-
amazing you've attacked me, but now you want to do this. Mr. Burkholder, you have no standards.
You
do
have 10 seconds.
No, I'm done.
Okay, very good. Roll call we'll call the question. Roll call.
Mr. Burkholder,
Yes.
Mr. Evans,
No.
Ms. McKee.
Yes.
And remember that announcement about phones?
Yes, and this was the timer, Mr. Evans, so that you would hear. Thank you. Okay, is there a motion to adopt the minutes from February 18th, 2025?
We have to adopt the agenda. We just adopt your rule for that. We didn't
I
adopt the
apologize.
agenda.
Roll call on the agenda.
No, we have discussion on the agenda. You had discussion on your motion only. We didn't have discussion on the agenda, so how are you doing a roll call?
Do you
So
have-
I have a motion to amend the agenda
Okay.
to add items that were refused. One is the Otarma risk assessment, which is needed. I'm not sure, it's very unclear on here, but we have prosecutor requests required dealing with the limitation of public comments at special meetings, emergency access on Runkle Drive, that issue, and Summit Road, Reynoldsburg Road Authority for them expanding it when it's our road. ODOT grant reports, that, we missed that, so we have to discuss that.
That's over here.
Indeed, in the planner position, the comprehensive plan going on its third year. The password system, apparently some are having issues with that. Definitely would like to address the needed change in trustee duties. The liquor permit, there's still no allowed conversation, discussion on what happened there where nobody showed up to represent us after 5 months of preparation. The key lock box we keep saying it's secure, or hear that secure, but there's no accountability as to the keys there and who has them. And the TIRC resignation and appointment.
Is there a second to the amendment? Is there a second to the amendment? Hearing none, the amendment fails.
Then I'd just like to say that this is standard. They don't want to talk about any of the issues here. Residents are very
You're out of
concerned
order,
about.
Mr. Evans.
No, I'm not.
It failed. I would like to ask the clerk at this time, there was a motion and a second to adopt the agenda, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. McKee motioned and Burkholder seconded.
Okay, very good. Just want to make sure. I have no further discussion to that. Do you have anything?
No, don't.
Very good. Roll call, please.
Unbelievable.
Mr. Evans,
No.
Mr. Burkholder,
Yes,
Ms. McKee.
Yes.
thank you. The agenda is adopted. Minutes, is there a motion to adopt the minutes, February 18th regular meeting? Is there a motion to adopt the minutes?
So moved.
I will second it. Discussion?
Yes, there's been ongoing serious issue with the lack of proper review of the minutes and their creation.
You're out of order.
We are
It's merely on the
repeatedly told
corrections of the
that they
minutes, Mr.
are
Evans.
being reviewed by others when there are glaring errors still present, suggesting the reviews are not being done or without care. I will be voting no on these and all future minutes until this board is interested in providing correct meeting minutes, which are the official record of the meeting. I have repeatedly made the board aware of serious errors, including missing motions, wrong votes, and even multiple 5 votes cast with non-board members showing to have voted only to be ignored and the incorrect minutes shoved through. Additionally, the fiscal officer is neglecting her duty to ensure the meeting minutes correctly reflect the meeting
You're out of
proceedings
order, Mr. Evans.
by
Come
certifying
to
them
order.
when they are knowingly incorrect.
You are attacking a member
Once
of
there
the
is a
board.
willing and competent board, I will move to provide the corrections needed. I ask that this statement in its entirety be placed in each of these motions in the minutes with my no votes now and moving forward.
Any discussion from Ms. McKee?
No.
I have none. Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans,
No.
Mr. Burkholder,
Yes,
Ms. McKee.
Yes.
minutes are passed. Is there a motion to adopt the March 25th, 2025 special meeting minutes?
So moved.
I'll second.
And discussion, I request that my same statement be included with this motion, otherwise I will read it verbatim.
Do you have anything, Ms. McKee? I have nothing. Roll call, please.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
No?
Motion passes 2-1. Those minutes are adopted. Is there a motion to adopt the the regular meeting, the April 1st, 2025 meeting?
So moved.
Second, discussion?
Yes, again, I ask that my entire statement read on the first set of minutes is included in this motion because it is applicable. And this is just wrong, what you're doing.
Do you have anything, Ms.
I
McKee?
don't have anything.
No discussion on my part. Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
No.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Those minutes pass. I do want to remind the board, though, that Robert's Rules of Order, which we have adopted, that would be section 43, paragraph 20, confining remarks to the merits of the pending question, not past questions, not past grievances, but the question before us. 4321 talks about conduct at these meetings, and that is to refrain from attacking a member's motives. You can talk about the issue, how you may disagree. You should not be calling anyone names. You're not supposed to say false. The polite way to do it is to say that I believe the evidence maybe shows something to the contrary. So my attempt as the president, and hopefully my fellow board members, is to properly conduct these meetings. That's the 3 minutes there.
Look more like a phone call.
It's not a phone call, Mr. Evans. Now, presentations. We have Mr. Jim Roberts here tonight to give a presentation. If you would give us your name and address, but I know who you are, but tell us who you are, and your title's the same, but the name of the district is different. And we'll try to keep it, we've got a lot on the agenda tonight, so
Are you keeping him to 3 minutes?
you can, this is a presentation.
Presentation is different.
This is a report. Go ahead, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Jim Roberts. I serve as Executive Director of Licking Regional Water District. My home address is 199 Overland Drive in Heath, Ohio. Go Bulldogs here in Watkins country. So, thank you for the opportunity to be here. Trustee McKee had asked me to give you guys an update on some of the things that are going on with the district, and I'm happy to do that. And Mr. Burkholder made note of maybe one of the more significant things. Back in November, we appeared before the municipal court, or the common pleas court, which is where our operations are governed, and changed our name. So for 35 years, we were known as Southwest Licking Community Water and Sewer District. In November, we effectively changed our name to Licking Regional Water District. A little bit easier to flow, fewer letters in our acronym, and so that change was made. Wanted to update you guys on some of the projects that we have ongoing that are involving Etna Township in some way or another. I apologize for getting into the weeds of a couple of the things, but just want to give you guys full information. So first and foremost, the number one project we have going on is our Wagon Wastewater Treatment Center project. That's going on between 70 and 40 here in Etna Township. It's a new wastewater facility. 2.5 million gallons per day is the capacity that it's going to start out with. It started construction in October of 2023 and is on schedule for completion about a year from now, so spring of 2026, which has been our anticipated completion date all along. It's an $85 million plant. That is considerably more than the preliminary planning costs anticipated. Some of the reasons for increases, Ohio EPA changed some of our treatment requirements very, very late in the process. They changed our total phosphorus and total nitrogen requirements. That required a major change in our design and what we were building. And as everybody would understand, we're fighting for concrete and steel and other things like that with bigger projects like Intel and things like that. So that's affected the construction industry and the cost of things, and we're certainly no different than everybody else on that. Our project consists of an influent pump station, influent screening facility with grit removal. Again, I apologize for the detail level here, but I think it's important. 2 oxidation ditches, which were added because of the EPA changes in our phosphorus and nitrogen removal requirements. 2 secondary clarifiers, aerobic digesters, biosolids processing facility, an operations center, chemical feed building for the phosphorus removal, tertiary filtration facility for phosphorus removal. So that's a lot of details on things that you didn't care about, but I wanted to just point out what's happening out there where we're going to be treating additional flows. Funding for this project is primarily through tap and capacity fees as well as what we call capital recovery fees. And we'll talk a little bit more about those as we move forward. So the biggest project going on in Etna Township right now is the Wagner wastewater treatment facility. The next project I wanted to mention is a Refugee Road lift station and relief sewer. Obviously it's on Refugee Road. Phase 1 was a lift station and it's currently in construction and almost complete. The lift station cost is about $2.7 million. That's going to be paid for by capital recovery fees as well. Capital recovery fees are additional charges levied on developers when the property connects to the system. And the relief sewer costs are going to be paid by developers for several different ways. The project is designed to alleviate sanitary sewer capacity issues within the State Route 310 Refugee Road area. So I mentioned the Wagner wastewater treatment facility. That allows us to have more capacity for treating. And that's going to have the extra capacity there, and it's also going to take some of the capacity that's currently filling up our Gale Road plant off of Gale Road. So both of those plants will have available capacity when Wagner opens up. But our system has some limitations and some choke points as well. And so all these other projects are intended to deal with some of those choke points. So Refugee Road Lift Station is one of those. It consists of the sanitary sewer lift station, which is essentially complete, and about 7,000 feet of 12 and 15-inch sanitary sewer, which is also close to being complete. So if you're familiar with that area on Refugee Road, we'll be able to convey more sewage from that area, and we'll be able to treat more of it when these projects are all complete. Our Pataskla Corporate Park Sanitary Sewer Project is also substantially complete. It started in October of 2023. It's designed to service the corporate parks, both Pataskla Corporate Park as well as the Etna Corporate Park. Project costs are just under $16 million. We received $4.175 million grant from Ohio Department of Development Water and Wastewater Infrastructure Program, and a portion of the cost will be paid by that same capital recovery fee that I mentioned earlier from property within the drainage tributary area. That project consists of a regional sanitary sewer pump station, about 15,500 feet of gravity sewer, and about 10,600 feet of pressurized force main. And again, that project is essentially complete. Those are sanitary sewer projects that I've talked about so far. We do have some projects on the water side. Our National Road Wellfield project, we've got 6 wells that we're going to be drilling near Kirkersville. And the wellfield project is the drilling of those wells and then also the water lines to deliver the raw water from those wells to our plant on Gale Road. That project was bid a couple of months ago. It has not started construction yet, but that will start in May. So it's on schedule right now. We anticipate it to be completed in about a year, so in spring of 2026. We have what we call our Contract A and our Contract B. Contract A is about $4 million, Contract B is about $5 million. Contract A is the raw water main, so it's the pipes that will come from those wells out in the field to our plant. Approximately 14,700 feet of 16-inch water main, 1,900 feet of 12-inch, and 2,800 feet of 8-inch rock water main. So a lot of water mains to bring the water to our facilities. And then the well production themselves, the drilling of the wells, the electrical components, pumps, telemetry, backup power, all those things. That's our Contract B. So for 6 wells, that's going to cost in the area of $5 million. So water improvements as well as sanitary sewer improvements. And then my last project that I wanted to update you on, I mentioned that the Wagram plant will take some of the flow away from our Gale environmental control facility, but we are expanding that facility as well. We're going to expand it from 2.65 million gallons a day to 4.3 million gallons a day, so about 1.5 million gallons per day. That project is currently in design. It's about 30% design, so I would anticipate design would continue through the rest of this year and into next year, probably bidding the project sometime in 2026. That includes influence screening facility with grit removal, 2 oxidation ditches with fermentation processes, 1 secondary clarifier, a chemical feed building for total phosphorus removal, and a tertiary filtration plant for total phosphorus. So we're anticipating the same phosphorus and nitrogen challenges on the expansion of that project that we've had to deal with on the Wagram project. Another project we're involved with, which is actually one of your projects, that's your Pike Street upgrade. We have some water lines in place that are in the way of that expansion project, and so we've been meeting with the design engineer, the TID, and President Burkholder to work through the challenges of how we're going to deal with our water main there, and we'll have that resolved. I believe that project is scheduled to bid next year early, and so we'll have all that figured out and worked out before the project bids. Just a couple of general comments. We spent a considerable amount of money on a master plan for the district that we've been using to make our priority decisions on projects. We obviously have a lot of money to spend, and we want to be very cautious and careful with, excuse me, with how we do it. Our mantra has been development pays for development. So as Etna Township folks, you guys are, many of you are probably already customers of our system. Our goal is to not burden you with any costs tied to the projects that we're doing outside of the Etna area. So development needs to cover the cost of the projects that we're doing in other locations. And again, the Wagram plant will service almost exclusively the legacy district, which is Etna Township, Harrison Township, and City of Pataskala, the areas we've served for the past 35 years. So we have multiple financial consultants helping us master plan how this all comes together. We're part of a lot of different TIF agreements and JET agreements and NCAs and things like that in some of our growth areas in Union Township and Jersey Township. And so the models are very complicated, but they're also helping us make important decisions on where we can spend money and where we can't spend money, and we'll be very cautious about moving forward with any projects that we don't know for sure that we can manage. So with that, I apologize for the long-winded report, but Licking Regional has had a long and successful relationship with Etna Township.
Yes.
We look forward to continuing that with you folks.
Yes.
If anybody has any questions or anything on, just feel free to reach out to me at any time, and I'd be happy to answer those questions. And thank you for your time.
I've got a quick question. You indicated that through the court there was the name change, but that was kind of the least significant part of that. Could you give us and the public a summary of what was the main purpose of that court filing?
Well, there were multiple pieces to it. We expanded our service area. Jersey Township is now part of our service area. And we also expanded our board from 3 members to 5 members. So there's an Etna Township appointee, Harrison Township appointee, and a Pataskala appointee, which has always been the case. Because Jersey was included in our territory, there's now a Jersey Township appointee, and the 5th appointee is a at-large appointee that was selected by the other 4 board members at the first meeting in January. So we went from 3 to 5 members, which is a much more efficient way of doing business from my experience, and allows the district to function effectively, and you have challenges when you only have 3 with quorum issues. If somebody's absent, or if you run into each other at a mall or something, it's hard to talk to each other because that appears then that you've had 2 of your 3, which is a quorum. So we ran into some of the same problems that you guys, I'm sure, run into, and so that was part of why we did that. So those were the main changes that were made. There were some other minor structural changes, but those were the main ones.
And then I had just one final question, because we're not getting updates from our representative to the board. Is Rob Platt still one of the consultants that is hired and paid by the district?
His contract has ended,
Okay.
so actually I think it ends the end of this month,
So, okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr. Roberts. Appreciate that. Okay. Alpha Link and an IT presentation. Ms. McKee, would you like to give some background on that? or
Yes, yes.
Present?
As you know, there was, we've been working prior to another IT company. I did some little research and found Alpha Link Technology, which is local. So
All right.
that's a plus right there, just saying that they're a local company. I met with them. I met with the gentleman, Bryce, and his boss here, which is John. And if you would like to come up to the podium and try to give us some background of your company. And the reason we asked them to come out, you guys, is because we've had some challenges with our emails. And we want to make sure that we can get to our emails when we need to get to them. And we want to also make sure that we're secure. So this is where Alpha Link comes in, and so they kind of came out and met with me and Jackie, the fiscal officer, and we had a conversation. They also provided us with some additional information, so if you want to just take it from there, some background.
If you could just state your name and address for the record, please, sir. Welcome.
Police might be looking for me if I do that.
Well, that's okay.
No, I'm John Carson with Alpha Link Technologies. My personal address is 4324 Wesleyan Church in Granville. Our company's located in Newark. It's 1496 West Main Street in Newark. We just completed our 41st year of being in business. We specialize in working with small to medium businesses and small to medium cities and townships, and like you guys. We're the IT department for the city of Newark. We handle all of their server and workstation upkeep. We handle their security system, their video surveillance system, their telephony system. We also do the same for the city of Zanesville, city of Marietta, village of Hebron, village of Buckeye Lake. There's a few other smaller ones around that we deal with. We were invited to come out and talk to you guys about possibly providing IT services for you, which we'd be happy to do. I guess I'm here to answer any questions that you may have about our company. So,
Any questions from the board?
But, I have not heard of you before. I did look up on your Facebook. It looks like you guys aren't very active. 2021 was the last post,
we're not really social media people, so we kind of dropped the support of that. Like I said, we've been in business for 41 years. Most of our advertising is done through radio and direct mail and word of mouth. So
Have you worked with Bill Spurgeon before? He's
we
kind
worked with Bill for years, yes.
Okay.
Back when he was in the fire department, we actually started out when we first started working with the city of Newark. The fire department, police department contacted us and asked us if we would work and support them because they were having issues with the on-staff IT personnel. And then the safety director at that point became the service director, and then she brought us in to take over the whole city. That's been about almost 15 years ago.
I don't have any more questions for you. Just discussion with the board about what this is.
Ms. McKee?
I don't have any more questions. I had all of my questions answered. Just so you know, they require, you guys do many services like you mentioned. It's not just email. You guys do servers. There was a discussion also about telephones. There was one of your employees out here looking at our phone services here.
Correct. Yeah, We have, we do a hosted voice over IP phone service like that we provide for local businesses and governments and organizations. We're also an internet service provider. We resell Time Warner, Spectrum, fiber and cable, and
Yes.
several other vendors. They're our primary ones. We do web design, web hosting. We do a lot of Microsoft 365. We offer a cybersecurity subscription service that we rolled out a couple of years ago. That we make sure that you're CISA certified or compliant in all your security to help with your security systems. We do external penetration testings for all your public-facing internet. We have cybersecurity training that we offer for all your employees. We have a security product that goes on all the computers and servers that does proactive remediation in case you would happen to get a cybersecurity attack. It automatically remediates it. It's manned 24/7 by a security operations center that's actually based in Israel. Because we can't staff it 24/7, they will actually call us on the weekends. If there's something that's serious, they'll let us know. If they couldn't remediate it remotely, or if it's not automatically remediated, they call us. It goes into our support line. It'll actually go to my home phone number and my cell number, and then we can address it at that point.
Go ahead, sir.
I've got one question. So you reviewed our system and kind of what we're doing right now, is that correct?
We have.
And have you found deficiencies that need to be corrected, and what are they?
I wasn't really asked to look for deficiencies, so.
Okay.
I mean, at this point in time, your system's pretty basic.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a server, you just have workstations. I'm not here to slam your current vendor. I'm just here because I was asked to come to
Correct,
present
yeah.
our service.
And I just want, any of my questions isn't going to be against your company. It's just,
Okay, yeah.
I don't see a need for a change, but I'll deal with that with the board. But thank you.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming.
Bryce, do you want to speak up on anything right now? Okay, because I know we had a conversation about smart boards, possibly putting up some screens up here on the wall to face the trustees so we can see them. And if we have a presenter that wants to present information or documents, it would be up on the smart board where the residents or the audience could see the board behind us. We would be looking over at at the flat screens up on the wall. And then we were looking at having one of the voice activated systems that would be mounted up on the wall. That's an option. Whereas we spoke, that voice would pick up our voice. So I wanted to see if you can kind of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Do you need me to state my name and everything?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Come on, Bryce.
So my name is Bryce Lucky. My current address is actually 1491 South Belvoir Boulevard, and that's in Cleveland, Ohio. I work remote. I've worked with Alpha Link for about 4 years now. Speaking on this room and kind of the project that you guys foresee here, we've done a number of projects for other chambers around the area, Village of Hebron, City of Newark as well.
Yep.
The product that she's talking about, it's basically, it's called a meeting owl. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of one of those. Basically what it is, it's a 360-degree panoramic camera, and it is, like she mentioned, voice activated. So it recognizes if you were talking over there, it focuses in on each individual that would be speaking. I know one of the first things that you brought up in this was you want like live streams for your guys' meetings.
Yep.
That's as simple as I know you guys have a YouTube account. It's as simple as streaming straight to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds like you guys like Facebook quite a bit. You can stream to Facebook as well, Facebook Live. It's just a matter of your guys' personal preference, honestly. But there's a number of things that can do for you guys, given the opportunity. It's just a matter of you guys giving us a vision, helping us complete it. We also did talk, I'll just kind of unload on the other things that we discussed, like John discussed, voice over IP phone system. Again, it seems like the setup is very basic as it is. I'm assuming you guys are going to probably grow over the next 10 years. That's just a, very general assumption. You guys are going to need to expand your phone system as well. And there's all sorts of advances in technology. So it's one thing that we discussed. I mean, as trustees, I'm sure you guys are not in one physical spot all too often, but you do need to take a call. One of the things that we're offering is it's called a soft phone. So you would have like your guys' office extension or your direct inward dial number on your guys' cell phone, so you don't have to call out and give your personal cell phone number, and you can still represent, Etna Township when you're calling out and receiving those calls. So just kind of like going off of what John said, any questions, that's why we're here. We're here to answer questions for you guys.
Well, let's take appreciate you coming out and giving us some ideas, and let's take a look at the materials. I know this will be something that we're going to be considering, and our new township administrator will be starting the 28th, so we'll get him of April, so we'll get him involved as well and see what our options are. But thank you
And
for
as far as
coming.
the telephones are concerned, these would, you didn't elaborate much on it, Bryce, but about the phones, we would be using our own township telephones, so we wouldn't have one in each office. So
Well, there's flexibility there. That's the huge upside of a voice over IP phone system. There's tons of flexibility, and even to the point where, let's say you guys open up a new office and you guys had a couple extra phones. It's as simple as running a data drop, plugging that phone in, giving it an extension, then you're ready to go. But yeah, you could have both mix of physical phones and your soft phones on your cell phone. Again, it really comes down to user preference. I'm sure that you guys have like township phones through the township, like through your cell phone, so you don't have to use your personal cell phone in that manner. But again, it's still represented as from the village, or not the village, rather. Sorry, but at the township.
Right.
Yep.
Well, thank you, and we'll take the information in, and the board can look it over, and we'll go from there.
Thank you for having
Thank you.
us.
thank you
Appreciate
very,
it.
very
Thank
much.
you.
I appreciate it.
Let's go to public comments. Is there anyone that would like to speak at this time? Please come forward, state your name and address. Keep your remarks to 3 minutes, please.
Okay, I'm not Paul. Those of us who are vertically challenged.
Thank you.
My name is Trustee Mead. I am, I'll give you my address, 245 Hillview Drive, it's 43068. I was asked to come because one of the resolutions under new business has to do with the America 250, which I'm also the president of West Licking Historical Society for anybody here who does not know who I am. So I feel like we have 5 government entities that are in our area, so I come to meetings like this more than I, and I'm sorry, I feel like I'm not hugely, where have you been? I'm at the other places. So, I'm at the other ones, or at our own meetings. I feel like I'm meeting to death. America 250 is the celebration of our 250. I'm not going to say the word, it's a big long one. It's really not as hard as I think it is, but it means 250 of the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
Yes.
So, and I have to practice it 10 times before I can say it right. So, the resolution that's on the agenda tonight is to about having Etna Township become a America 250 community.
Yes.
So it's what we make it to be. So it's not, there's guidelines and everybody's doing something different.
Yeah.
So we don't have to do what other people are doing, or whether it's, and there are several counties. If you go to the website and you look at communities, there are many cities, villages, from the big three, the Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, but also the village of Lythopolis.
You have about a
So-
minute.
Okay, so basically that's what it is. I have lots of information that's too much for 3 minutes. But basically it's to be able to do what we, the group in Etna Township, to how are we gonna celebrate it? And that's something that, once the resolution's adopted,
Yes.
we get together, we talk, we say, this is what we want to do, and this is how we want to go forward. And it actually kicks off next weekend with the 250th anniversary of Paul Revere's Drive. So that's actually, it was 250 years ago on Friday night. So, and actually there's a local connection, Dawes Arboretum, here in Licking County.
Yes.
His great-grandfather or great-grandfather was William Dawes, who was also a part of that ride. So there is a connection to Licking County.
Yep.
So that's not us directly, but indirectly. So,
Very good.
but if for questions or anything, I'm hoping to be a part of that.
Yes.
And I think it's something really cool. I'll be honest, you're in first place.
Right.
As far as West Licking Historical Area, as to becoming a American 250 community. So being in first place is kind of cool, or the first one in our little corner of the world. So I'm excited about that. So
Thank you very much.
So just because we have under new business, it will be coming back up again under new business.
Yep.
Are you going to be able to stick around or?
I'm going to try to, yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I was
Appreciate
looking
it.
at the agenda when I first got here.
Okay,
so-
awesome. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it.
Great. Anyone else like to speak at this time? 3 minutes. State your name.
I'll get mine out of the way. Mark Evans, and again, for those that haven't seen me speak up here, got a little taste of the censorship and the reason why I
You
have
need
to be
your
up
first and
here.
last name and your
They-
address for the
They
record,
have
please.
to
He's not gonna.
censor me, and we've had times where they've adjourned in the middle of a sentence to stop me from speaking. Now, again, we saw that numerous agenda items were refused, and they're needed to be addressed. It's total mismanagement by this board leadership to constantly ignore things. The last 2 regular meetings, we've had to have an immediate special meeting to address items that both Mr. Burkholder and Ms. McKee blocked and refused that I tried to get addressed at the regular meeting. It's uncalled for mismanagement and just incompetence. Because, Ms. McKee, if you want to record me and post it,
I
you
don't-
can. You
I'm
don't
not
have to
on social
hide what
media,
you're
sir.
doing.
I'm
I know
sorry,
you
I'm
did
not
it
on
before.
social
People
Let
said that.
him finish.
Said
Let him
that
finish,
before. I've used it to try to intimidate other people, but I don't mind
Can
being
you
recorded
continue with
speaking.
your-
Ms.
with
McKee,
your-
this is my time.
Continue.
This is my time.
Continue, Mr. Evans.
So again, this board even tries to stop me from speaking up here because they are afraid of people knowing what's going on here. It's crazy. And Mr. Burkholder, you're running for office for clerk of municipal court, and numerous people have asked you, and you've refused to answer publicly whether you plan on keeping both positions if you run. Why won't you tell the public that? It's a, what, $130,000 position, and you're not handling this position at all. You're having attorneys remain unanswered when they try to get in touch with you. We've got hearings and court cases where attorneys don't show up because you've just blown them off, and you want to be Licking County's clerk of court. Yet you refuse to say if you want to keep the trustee position and that position if you should win. Why won't you answer that? Why won't you be transparent? And we had the water board director up here. You had demanded that our appointee come up here and give us monthly reports. Never happened. That's another court case that went unanswered. They sold out to Jersey Township directing all the funds up that way, and
You have
did
30
nothing.
seconds, Mr. Evans.
Yeah, and you did nothing again. That was one of your election promises. But again, numerous items need to be addressed here, and you won't. You only put on what you and Ms. McKee determined, apparently, outside the meeting, in discussions, like we have the video of you two in this back room regarding the budget that was illegal. Like, when is this nonsense gonna stop? And why are you afraid to discuss anything? Why do you try to shut me down
Your time is up,
on
Mr.
Facebook through other people?
I had nothing.
And they told you they wouldn't do that, and why wouldn't you just answer and have a discussion in public? You shouldn't be afraid, but you are.
Your time has expired, Mr. Evans. Let the record show Mr. Evans went to the podium as a resident, not as a township trustee. Thank you. Anyone else? Name and address, please. Please address the board.
Yeah, Rachel Zelazny, 10141 Tollgate Road, Southwest. So I do have an email that I want to go ahead and put into the record as well. But on March 7th, I received an email from our zoning inspector with all three of you copied stating that they met with the owners of Shingle, Caldo Concrete to go over 4 current violations: occupancy permit for the office, occupancy permit for the garage, the buffer, and the outside storage. This email states that the owner committed to a 3/17 deadline for a written design plan to meet the buffering requirements and to remediate the issues of outdoor storage, and committed to a deadline of 4/15 to complete the installation of the buffering materials as well as the outdoor storage issues. Today is April 15th, and not one tree has been planted and none of the outside storage has been removed. I find it interesting that I received verification for 4 violations as well as the trustees, but not one of them has made it to the case report that goes back to January for today's that's on the agenda. They are listed on the permit report for a commercial fence that they are currently building. But per my last public comment, when is Etna Township going to start writing violation letters and enforcing our code? So I do have the email as well, just to put as public record. Yeah, that's my question with zoning. But I will say, on another note, that all 3 of you guys are running for positions, and it's getting very old. Even for you, Ms. McKee, just to state that you're not on social media while emailing me stating that I have misinformation, which I do not, on my social media, because I have that I'm a board member in Etna Township, is ridiculous. I feel like these situations, the violations, things that actually matter to the township are important, which is what I responded to your email, that the trustees need to worry about actual issues in the township and not what somebody's social media says. That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Social media and email are 2 different things, Rachel.
Okay. Is there anyone else at this time?
Rachel, you might.
Okay, let's, oh, I'm sorry, sir.
I was given this by Mr. Burkholder. That's for you.
That was given to me. Name and address, please.
John Hanson, Ridgewood Drive. I know you're having an executive session later, so you could use this to scan Mr. Evans. I think you should assume anytime you're near Mr. Evans, you're being recorded. We did get some of the, we did get the executive sessions that he supposedly recorded, and he comes out of the session still recording, and records all the way, including a little video on him getting in his Jeep or truck or whatever it was. So I think if you meet with Mr. Evans, you should be aware that you're being recorded, most likely. And also, I assume that's why he walks through here and throws barbs at the gallery when he's leaving, is to try and catch something on tape. And you did ask me last week about how I said it was going to be mediation, not a court thing for the public records. Of course, I have very little control over that. They assigned it to a judge, and that did force some of the records and 72 pages of the outside legal fees and some of the things we requested, not all of them. But I did sign an agreement this morning with the prosecutor to try and move this to mediation to make it a little smoother for the remainder of it. The remainder of the stuff is just not that necessary. If you go to etnatoday.com, the latest blog, it has a post there, and there's PDFs of the case, how to file it, and all the evidence. So there's 4 documents in this case right now, and you can see them all at etnatoday.com or etnatoday.com/records. As far as some of the stuff,
You have about a minute.
thank you.
Thank you.
Some of the stuff that Mr. Evans keeps repeating that just aren't so. The Summit Road, I believe you were given in writing that Reynoldsburg has control of that section there. Yet you keep bringing it up. This is what you do. You look for wedge issues that you can't do anything about, but that you can rile people up on social media and Facebook. And even with the JEDs, the TIFs, and all that, I believe Mr. Hodge was in the meeting here and offered to do a JED for Drayton Hall and to include sheets, and there'd be no risk to the township that they would pay for that. Now, if you negotiate a JED,
30 seconds.
you would have the ability to have 2.5% of the income off the 264 apartments there, plus everybody that works at the sheets there. So that's 470 to 500,000, and whether it goes to schools or where it goes, that's negotiated. And that would have been the time to negotiate it instead of going to Mount Vernon and complaining to a newspaper.
Your time has expired, sir.
A sports reporter,
Sorry.
no less.
Thank you.
That is not true.
That's,
He's listed as sports
Okay.
reporter.
No, I'm saying everything you
please,
said.
please go forward. Yes, hello.
Hey, Phyllis Bundy, 10254 Tollgate Road Southwest. I have a couple of things, and talking about, before we've talked about a comprehensive plan, is anything going forward with that?
I'll be happy to go ahead and do your full 3 minutes. I'll be happy to
Okay,
give
all
a
right.
response.
And also, I would like to know who the Etna Township water and sewer reps are. That was my second question. And the other thing is with the Caldo site, everything seems to be moving really slowly up there. I mean, as far as today, there's a partial wooden fence up there, and I know part of this needs to go to Ted. Those things should have been remediated before this. If there were fines that should have been put in place, or things that they were supposed to fix a long time ago, and all we hear is, well, it's going to be done, it's going to be done. If that were at my home and I had these things that were wrong at my home, I believe that Ted would be there and he would be saying, Mrs. Bundy, you need to get these things fixed now and give me a date. And then I would say, when do the fines start? And he would say, well, they started yesterday. That's my own opinion. That's it.
Yes, quickly, Trent Stepp is our water and sewer rep, and as far as the comp plan, that we've reached out to the original vendor, and Mr. Spurgeon, the new administrator, will be working on that as well.
And I've tried to get the comp plan addressed numerous times, and as again today, Mr. Burkholder refused.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to take back my last minute since I got this email stating Rachel Zlasny, 10141 Tollgate Road, from Ted today at 5:20. The fence and buffering have been installed. My question is, the fence is not done, and how many trees have been installed?
We'll have a zoning report after this, so.
Okay,
If you have
because
any
I'm
other
outside
questions.
all day with my children,
Right.
and not one tree has been installed. The fence, like Ms. Bundy said, is halfway done. This is not correct. Also, the fact that certificates of occupancy were issued for the office building and the garage when it wasn't complete. How are we giving occupancy permits when they haven't met the final plan?
Ted, the owner of the property, are they getting notice on this property that we're referring to? Not, I'm talking about her property, the property that she lives in. Who owns that property? Are they getting are they getting,
The property in question is, you have, in our code, you have a choice that you can put a specific number of trees and shrubs in, or in place of that, in the code, it says you may install a fence. So,
In their plans, it states that they will have 30-foot buffer of trees.
Okay.
They were not supposed to take them out. So my question is, why are we stating that the buffering has been installed per the plan and we're signing off on it when it was not?
Time is expired now, so that may come up during his report.
That's
but
fine, but they
we'll be
took out
more than
their
happy
trees.
to
They
follow-
also
we'll
took
be
out
more
my
than
trees
happy
and
to
encroached
follow
my
up.
property and nothing was put back. My question for 3.5 years now is why?
You're out of time. Thank you.
She has a valid complaint. Nothing's been done.
Well, that's not correct, but anyone else that'd like to speak at this time? Yes, sir.
Matthew Ravenberg, 46 Cedar Park Boulevard. I wanted to start with saying I'm glad we finally wrapped up the administrator situation, so that hopefully the board can now start focusing on other things. One of the things that I think needs looked into, and it's been going on for a couple months now, is there's a contract issue with our sheriff's deputy who is absent this evening because he's most likely out on patrol. The board approved that as a special duty, and then there was a disagreement between the department and the township on whether he qualified for special duty. So the officer we do get, which has been drug into executive session, is our patrol officer. And we have a large township with 2 officers at best on, and I would like to see them focus more on patrolling and less time sitting in here babysitting executive sessions. And so hopefully that is something that can now be addressed going forward now that we're not debating contractors. I appreciate the invite to the water board president to come in and get an update. It was very interesting. I fully agree with him on 5 members make a much more solid platform for a board. I wish the state would adopt that setup for the townships as well.
no, it didn't pass.
It didn't
No.
pass.
No, unfortunately, it did not on this time, but there's always a new session every year, so here's the hope. I appreciate Alphalink coming in. They've been, I used to work with them back in '05 when I was with Cherry Valley Lodge. They have a great reputation in the Newark area and Licking County as a whole. It'd be really great to see some boards in here because, a couple weeks ago we got to see a very overpriced presentation on the parks that none of us could read. So it'd be nice to have something so that we as the public can kind of see what's going on when that happens. And I also think that we need to really take a hard look. I see on the agenda later there is an adoption of purchasing computers, and the reasoning I heard was because of them going out to date with a Windows update. But yet, it's every computer in the township looks like it's being replaced, and I'm fairly confident that more than likely that those can be updated. And right now it's a free update from Microsoft if it's done before October. And the X-Tech proposal that was submitted has got a 25% markup on computers, on hardware. That is taking a $650 computer and marking it up to $900 to the township is just kind of, does not sit well. So I would really like to see, before it's decided on that we're purchasing new computers across the entire township, someone go in and verify that the update is required, the computers are not eligible for the free update, and then a better sourcing be done for that, avoid a huge markup for a basic item that can be acquired without a special vendor like that. Lastly, I know there's been a lot of discussion about the cost and stuff with the live stream proposal, so
3 minutes.
I'd like to hand the president an alternate proposal that's more cost effective.
Thanks, sir. Pass that down to the clerk, please. Anyone else? We will have Mr. Walker give his zoning report. He stepped out momentarily. So we will come back to that. As far as the roads, maintenance and assessment. Mr. Evans, you had wanted this on the agenda?
Yeah, I attempted to get this on the agenda before. I know at least March 18th was the delayed a month, and this is the delays that
Stick
I'm
to
talking about.
what you,
I
give us
am
an
sticking
update.
to this because it's pertinent for the scheduling of the work. Because I've had the contractors call and say, what are you guys doing? Because we're scheduling everything else. If you don't make up your mind, it's going to be in cold weather again.
What's the
So I need to
proposal?
know, how are we handling this? I can go through it based on our prior assessment and with Bubba and submit a recommendation, but are you going to let me do that because you're not letting me do anything?
Well,
So
I mean-
I'm more than happy to do it
Well,
because I've been doing it.
let me clarify a few things. You did it previously. I talked about the capital improvements plan, which you had talked about getting the capital improvements plan. I talked to Mr. Copley, said if you talk to Mr. Evans to go ahead and come with some kind of a recommendation based on the ratings and based on a capital improvement plan, and we don't have a capital improvement plan. So what are you, I guess my question is, what are you proposing? What are you
Well, I need
recommending?
the authority to.
No, you have the authority.
No, I did not. You and Miss McKee removed every authority
Well,
from me, so don't say
Do you have
I
any-
do.
do you
Don't
have-
make things
do-
up. I am more than willing to
Do you have-
address it with Mr. Copley
Well, then you
and
need
submit
to.
it to the board for the recommended stuff, just like I did last year, but we can't have continued delays like we did
We-
last year, where we weren't even able to get the required crack sealing done because of your delays, Mr. Burkholder.
No, that's not.
It is true
I-
because you
I-
didn't address the
Well, Mr.
employees.
Mr. Evans, do you have a
Being out.
proposal? I've talked to
No,
Mr. Copley.
it-
I've asked him for weeks.
Yeah, I
said, "Have you
propose
talked-"
the motion for Trustee Evans to deal with the maintenance and assessment of the 2025 road maintenance.
I'll second that. A motion's not needed, but if that's what it takes to get you to work on it, then I'm going to support it.
No, that's
Do you
what
have
it
any-
takes to get you guys to
Sorry,
let me
Mr.
do
Evans.
something.
Discussion. Ms. McKee, do you have anything?
How soon do we have to be completed? Because the fact of the matter is, we did hire an administrator, and that administrator will be working closely with the road crew.
Most entities, and
So-
we're already violating the Roberts Rules things at one time in 3
That's
minutes
right,
and
one
all that
time.
stuff.
Mr.
Because
Evans, you're up next. Go ahead.
when you
I'm
wanna
done.
violate it, you want to violate it.
No,
But in conversation with the contract, most entities are doing this in February and March and are done, and things are being scheduled. If we're doing actual mill and fill, we've got to get that scope together and get those bids out. As far as the other road maintenance, if we're going to do some roads, which I do suggest for the micro resurfacing, that right now the contractor is scheduling and working with Violet Township and I believe Pataskala. So they said that if we have that within the next couple weeks, they'd be able to do that in their normal schedule between June and July. If not, it's going to push again till August. Now again, depending on what we do, we're going to have to get those cracks sealed. So it's going to have to be next meeting for that. And this is why I tried to address this March 18th and you refused.
okay, if there's no further discussion, first of all, this is a report. There was no motion associated with this, but since you've inserted a motion.
I've asked
We'll
for it
take,
to
we'll
be.
take a, we had road maintenance, that's all we saw.
No.
So, roll call, please.
I've got
Well,
the-
first of all, I move to call the question. Is there a second to call the question? In other words, take it to a vote. Is there a second?
There is, no, you call the question and you take a
No,
vote.
you have to take a vote if you're going to call the question. So there's no more debate. Is there a second? To go to the vote, Ms. McKee? No, is there a second
Oh, I'm
to
not-
call the question?
Well, call the question.
Okay, second by Ms. McKee. Roll call to call the question.
Oh my God.
Mr. Evans?
This is bizarre. Yes.
Mr.
It's
Burkholder?
unneeded.
Yes,
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
roll call on the motion,
I
please.
can't wait to see these minutes.
You just,
Roll call, please.
I'm sorry. Mr. Evans? So sorry.
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee? Yes.
Pike Street, we talked about briefly some of the challenges with Pike Street. We're also looking at what the gas company is going to be doing with lines there. So the cost of relocating that line has not been concluded yet. We're still working with MKSK relative to the trees, the retaining walls, getting some of these other grants finalized as well. The other thing will be funding, and so I think that'll play into the road budget as well. And that's all I have at this time.
Regarding Pike Street, it'll come in with the toilet and our sewer discharge line issues. There's going to have to be something that's done just prior to that Pike Street being completed, because the problem is underneath the street.
Okay. Road capital improvement plan. Any update on that, Mr. Evans?
Then we just deal with the maintenance and assessment, and that'll be part of the improvement plan.
Yeah, but I mean as far
As
as
we discussed prior.
the 5-year capital improvement plan, which we had discussed. And do you have the booklet? I've talked to Mr. Copley about the booklet that has all the previous history.
Yes, I do. And
Is that back
it
into
has
the-
not been updated.
Is that back in the road department? Where's?
No, when I meet with Mr. Copley, I'm going to give that to him, but those, that information, those charts, I've been trying to go through and update because when the prior secretary left and the prior board, none of that was updated.
That's fine, but let's get that back over here so we can make a copy of it, so that has so much history, and that would be appreciated. So we'll
Well, it's
go,
electronic.
by the way, on the Pike Street, we did not get the OPWC grant. We found that out recently. So we did not get the loan or the grant, so that'll have an impact. The Main Street email, there is apparently an application has been submitted by the Licking County Planning or the Licking County Transportation Improvement District regarding a study of Mink Street from Main Street to Refugee to see what kind of improvements can be made on that. So this was an application merely to study. It was initiated by the Licking County Port Authority, and they made a recommendation to the TID, and the TID had Bill Lozier go ahead and submit an application. There is an email attached, I'm told, from Mr. Lozier that application did get submitted, but I don't have any other details at this time.
Have the residents of Mink Street been notified?
I do not know regarding that. Some of them have, but has there been?
Should we not notify them?
Well, I think what we first want to find out is get the application and see what's been applied for, and certainly let the residents of Mink Street know that at least that application has been submitted.
Well, there can't be that many. I would recommend a letter be sent to them just to let them know what the process is for any input.
The ODOT SALT grant, Mr. Copley, would you like to tell us what we need on the ODOT SALT grant?
I just need you guys to sign that letter so I can send it back. It's just updating the zoning we do every year, so we can get a cheaper price.
Is there a motion to approve that so that the trustees can sign it?
So moved.
Moved and seconded, Ms. McKee, Mr. Evans.
Bob, are we selecting the tonnage?
800.
Okay, same as last year.
If there's no further discussion, roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee? Yes.
I believe there's this, it was on here. I believe there was
Well, I'll
Regarding the
move, I'll
grant.
move to approve the purchase of the Mower Max
Well, let's,
saw quote.
okay, is there a second
Second.
discussion?
This has been something that we've discussed as being needed. Approximately 5-6 years ago, our equipment had a similar saw, but that was sold to the county engineer, I believe, when we bought the Mower Max unit. The saw is applicable to be used on our current unit and a new one, which I do believe we also need. This will allow for any kind of trimming of trees overhanging the streets. I think with this, we should probably do some outreach to the communities that if they want to prune their own trees, fine. If not, we're going to have to cut it back because we're suffering a lot of damage to trucks. I think each mirror's, what, about $1,000?
Yeah, per side.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to plow the roads with all the trees hanging.
What's the cost?
I believe it was,
State the cost and the vendor.
it is, this is not opening. Oh, here it is, it's open. The total cost is $20,135.75. That is part of the state bid ODOT contract. And there are various models available, different saw sizes and that. I kind of went through with Mr. Copley and the company about which one's most appropriate, and this one seems most appropriate.
What model? Do you have anything you want to add, Mr. Copley?
No, I don't know. I don't know if I have the model on here.
It's the Gen 3
Yeah, the Gen
boom
3,
attachment.
Yeah, 48-inch all day.
Any further questions from the board?
Yeah,
Ms. McKee?
yes, I do have a
Go
question.
ahead.
Now, this is the attachment to cut back the trees as you go down the road, which would be something that we can use in the future, which I don't know how far that's away for our park. But right now, I'm just curious, why won't we rent that equipment? I'm just asking, because I don't see us using it that often to justify $20,000 to purchase.
Well, I mean, it'd be a tree company because it would take away the boom truck and, you know, guys, I mean, I've never really priced a boom truck to use.
We could pay
So
someone else to do it.
I would like,
or-
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, is it cost effective to pay somebody to do it, purchase later on when we do get our park, or is it justifiable to spend the $20,000 now and have it sit more often than we use it, but then to hire a company? I mean, we're getting an administrator, and I would like to see just more information, just to see where we stand on that. I mean, is it cost efficient?
I personally don't think we should delay anymore. We've had administrators before. This has been proposed before. We've got a former administrator here. Like, we can't keep delaying, and this is just something that's needed. But if you're gonna hire somebody, you're not hiring them to just cut, then you're hiring to clean up, and it's gonna be an extraordinary cost for them to go through and do that. And I think this will even help with some of the other areas, not just those trees there, but I think it's well worth
If
it.
there's no further discussion, roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
No.
Okay, Records Commission. I contacted our consultant today. I think we'll wait to have another Records Commission meeting here in 2025 once our new administrator gets on so that he can sit into that meeting as well. Our consultant did have some family matters, but we'll get the consultant back here to work on our records. Tremendous amount of progress has been made. If you look at the fiscal officer's office, totally redone, cleaned up, organized. Some of that stuff has been moved to the back here. We've got a 64-gallon dumpster that we've dumped numerous times. There have been numerous boxes, 30, 40, 50. So progress has been made, and we'll continue to move that forward.
So I got a question in regards
Sure.
to that matter.
Sure.
Because this room here with all the stuff in there,
Right.
we're referring to about cleaning out,
Mhm.
and then the stuff behind this board. I know you mentioned she was on medical leave, and that's we've hired her, what, 2 years ago now?
Well, she went on medical leave, but she had.
Or whatever, she's not here, she's not doing the job.
No, she's only been here less than a year
Okay,
because
okay, that's
I
fine and
been here
dandy, but
just
my
over a
point
year.
that I'm trying to make here is the fact that it's been long enough to have that stuff cleaned up in there. And I would suggest that either we look for somebody else that can do the work, could get this cleaned out, because it's been going on. Mr. Evans continually, for 2 years, complained about that room. They hired a lady, the one that he's referring to do the room. It still looks like it looks now. So I think we
Well,
need
that's
to try.
That's not correct.
It is, Mr.
Go
Burkholder.
ahead.
That stuff should not be in there like that. It is being cleaned out, but it's been almost a year. And it should be completed. It should have been completed. So
Well-
I would ask that either we look for somebody else to come in and do the job, or I don't know
Well-
if she can get back in here soon enough to get it done, but it's been like that for almost a year coming up.
Well, and that's why I wanted to change in trustee duties, because I believe in her ability to do it, but it's the oversight and supervision by Mr. Burkholder, because he directed her first to deal with those items in the boxes that were sitting there for 10 years, and not the zoning office, not the fiscal office. That, the working files weren't the priority, but those were, and I think that was a misstart, and it's just not being handled properly.
Wow.
And that's the issue with most everything. There's not proper oversight, supervision,
Mr. Evans,
or communication
you
with,
are out of
with
order.
vendors
We
as
are
far as
talking about
expectations.
the records, not individuals.
Exactly,
We're
I
going-
am dealing with the records,
we're going-
because even with like McBride Dale, the zoning consultants, their complaint was that they're not given specific
Evans, that's
directive
off
and that,
topic.
so I'm sure it's the
You're
same
off
thing with
topic.
this
You're
vendor.
off topic,
It is
Mr.
on
Evans.
topic
It
because
is
of your
not on topic.
mismanagement
There you
of
go.
vendors,
Personal
of
attacks.
employees, of everything. It's nothing gets done.
We're gonna move on to, that's why, because we don't move on. We're gonna move on to old business at this time. And, yes, let's go back to zoning quickly. Mr. Walker, will you give us a little bit of update? We had some questions regarding several of the properties out there, so.
Right, as the trustees are aware, it's already been brought up, we've had some developments on 2 projects that have been in note for quite a while. One of them was the Caldo property on Tollgate. Met with the property owner 6 weeks ago. This has been a long-going process. There were some lawsuits and things going on, so we weren't able to address it for a number of months. When we were able to address it, I met with the property owner and come up with a plan, and the deadline for the plan was today. I didn't know at the time that it was going to be a trustee meeting, but today was the day, April 15th. The items in question were buffering and certificates of occupancy. In order to obtain the certificates of occupancy for 2 different structures, the garage and the office building, they had to take care of the compliance with the buffering. The buffering that they chose, and it was offered to them in the township, in our zoning code, was either trees and shrubs or fence. They chose the privacy fence of, with the fence itself is 6 feet, with the wall beneath it is 2 feet, so it's approximately 8 feet tall, which is permitted in our zoning code in M1 districts. As far as the front of the property along the road, they already had the adequate number of trees to meet the buffering, and they planted the shrubs this past weekend, so that took care of that. They also have an area that they've applied for a accessory building structure to house a number of materials for the construction company, and that part of the project is ongoing. It was not related to the certificate of occupancy. So, on that project, on the Skinnell properties, which I know has been an issue here for several years at least, myself, Neville Watson with Licking County Planning, we met with some representatives from Skinnell last Wednesday on site, We addressed a number of their issues. The trustees, I apologize for the lateness, by the way, of getting these reports to you. The Scannell part of it was just basically set up after 4 o'clock today. So anyhow, the Scannell property, if there's any residents here from Lynn's Road, the Scannell is ordering their surveyor to do as-bills for the entire wall to deal with the swale that's on the properties or adjacent to your properties. They're also going to survey the wall to make sure it's compliant, and then we'll compare the as-bills with the original plans. So that will be ongoing. That hopefully we can have that done within the next month to 6 weeks. So that's where we also are working. There again, I don't know if there's any residents here from Lynn's Road. I know I've heard of a lot of reports of a lot of light. I thought the light was coming from the buildings. Apparently it's not. It's coming from the equipment. So we're working. We're going to be addressing that in addition to the wall. We're going to be addressing that with FedEx to see what we can do to remedy that. We're not going to do that with the developer. We're going to do that with the tenant. So these things have just happened in the last 6 days. So I'll promise you future updates. I'll promise you quick action dealing with the FedEx part of it. And then we will get the as-bills done. I have no control over that timetable, but I know the surveyor was one of the people on site with us, so he knows exactly what he has to do. So that's the 2 projects that are, to use the term high profile. I know they've had a lot of interest here, so that's where we stand on both of those.
And then we also have attached here the permit report for March and also the code enforcement report. So thank you, Mr. Walker.
Mr. Walker, I did have a question on the Scannell. I thought they were supposed to have submitted as-built to the county, correct? Aren't there already as-built submitted?
It was our understanding there were some, but I don't think they had them all,
Yeah.
correct? In your talks with Neville Watson, the compliance officer?
Correct. According to Neville Watson, the compliance officer for Licking County Planning, they never had as-bills of the swale in relation to the wall. So.
Okay, because I thought Linda Nicodemus, when I was out there going around with her, they were talking about that, and they were having somebody come out to survey to make sure that the swale and the run, the drainage and all that, so they did not do that then?
Apparently that has not happened.
Okay, and then the other question I have, I communicated with you regarding that structure on Mink. When can I expect the permanent stuff on that accessory structure in front of the house? Because I still think that's an issue.
In relation to that, I'll make the board aware that tomorrow I'll be meeting with representatives of McBride Dale on a number of different projects. McBride Dale being our
Consultant.
zoning consultants. So I'll be meeting with several of their representatives to try to get through some of these projects. We've got 4 or 5 that I'm not going to call them unique, but they need some special attention. So we're going to have some professionals working with us to get those addressed.
No, but when can I expect the I just asked for a copy of the permit and any of the documentation associated with that property.
That property is one of the projects.
Okay, can you get that to me this week?
As soon as I talk to McBride Dale, I'll be happy to share that information with you.
Well, you should already have a copy of the permit and stuff, right?
I've got the copies of that. I want to review that with McBride Dale to make sure that we're on solid ground.
Let me give some of the context. Our zoning resolution needs to be redone. We've talked about that. We had a proposal from McBride Dale for $75,000. That's not been executed yet by the board. It's not been, well, it was voted on, but it didn't pass. But that's one of the problems is we have is our code is deficient, particularly when it comes to buffering. And we knew that when we had our in-house consultant who said, you really need to get this done. So that'll be, in my opinion, as a single trustee, I think that's a high priority. And hopefully we can bring that back with our new administrator to the board and have an in-depth conversation on that needs to, that and the land use plan need to move forward.
Well,
and
just
get resolved.
real quick, the problem isn't that. The problem is we have a zoning code book that is knowingly wrong, incomplete, not updated, and we're enforcing based on that wrong book and giving opinion based on that wrong book. And that's not being updated for the last 16 months. And you're just ignoring it like, oh, we gotta redo the whole zoning. That's the most important thing to update, and it's not, and I understand our zoning inspector's frustrated, because he can't do it on his own. We need to give him the support in that, but Mr. Burkholder, this is what I'm talking about, you're not supervising properly, and we need to correct that zoning book, because I even had to add on the website that don't rely on this, it's incorrect.
Mr. Evans?
So why aren't we? Because some decisions are being made.
I will
like
answer.
accessory structures in front of the house.
I will answer
when
this.
it's not proper.
If you're not gonna let me answer, then I guess we'll move on.
No, but I've been pushing for this for over 15 months with you, and you're not handling anything.
Mr. Evans, I take a lot of personal attacks from you, which is, first of all,
And
out
they're
of order.
valid.
But let me explain something. No, I'm not gonna attack back. We had an in-house consultant, and I was actually literally working with him to update the text amendments and the map amendments, which had not been updated to our zoning resolution.
And he didn't do them.
Yes, he did. We started and we got halfway through when his contract was not extended, and he left. But those are the things we found. We had our intern, Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission intern, last year work weeks going back to 2015 to document resolutions where we passed zoning amendments, both text and maps, that never got updated to the book. So I
And why
concur.
didn't it?
I concur it's a problem, but, well.
You didn't ensure it, you didn't oversee,
That's
you
enough.
didn't supervise properly, you
Well,
didn't direct.
We've heard it.
We had
yes.
enough time to do it.
Lot split for Drayton Hall, old business, and final plat language. I'm gonna ask Mr. Hodge to come back one more time. Mr. Hodge, you had 3 different things you wanted us, you sent us an email on that. And so if you don't mind doing, telling us again what I know we gotta sign the plat, but you had 3 directives. We'll bring it to the board, and I hope we can get it passed here tonight.
Sure thing. David Hodge, attorney with the law firm Underhill and Hodge, 8000 Walton Parkway, Suite 260, New Albany. Not Suite 260, we moved to Suite 120, New Albany, 43054. If I may approach Mr. Burkholder, I have some handouts that'll, I think, provide some clarity to everything.
This is a lot split on our park property over by Drayton Hall, and then also some final plat language that details the maintenance of the pond, which takes the stormwater off of Drayton Hall and that surrounding areas, and it dumps it into a retention pond that currently sets on the township property and the park property. So we wanted to make sure that that pond clearly gets maintained in perpetuity. Anything else that you want to explain?
Yeah, just real briefly, I'll go down the list. The first portion is a lot on the very far east side of the existing Etna Township Park. That lot got combined in at some point by others. I was tasked with splitting that lot out, and so the first ask is to authorize your zoning inspector to go into OpenGov and to okay that lot split. On the handout, that is the first page. I have the area to be split out drawn in bold. The next sheet is the survey of that area to be split. And then the next page shows that that area is actually Reserve E of the Broyles plat that this board approved some 45 or 60 days ago. So it's property that Etna Township owns, and so it's a simple transfer from Etna Township to Etna Township to create the lot split, allowing that parcel of property to remain owned by Etna Township, but to be part of that Broyles plat. So that's the first part of that, and then hopefully the action would also authorize the president of the board to execute the deed on behalf of the township, which would be customary. The next, as Mr. Burkholder mentioned, has to do with the plat note for the retention pond. That retention pond is on Etna Township property, but it has been constructed by the developer of the Drayton Hall Residential Hotel, and the plat note provides that the owner of the residential hotel has the obligation to maintain the pond.
Yep.
No obligation whatsoever of Etna Township. That pond is to be maintained on a monthly basis by the owner of Drayton Hall. If Drayton Hall would fail to maintain, that plat note says that Etna Township can come in and do the maintenance and then charge the owner of that property back. So we previously had that set up to be a totally separate document, an owner's, a property owner's organization, but that was just too cumbersome, unnecessary. We already have 6 or 8 different governing documents associated with that property, so the simple thing to do was simply to put it into a note right on the face of the plat that ends up recorded at the Licking County Recorder's Office. I know that language was sent over, excuse me, to the Etna Township third-party consultant attorney, who has reviewed that plat note and indicated that the plat note is appropriate and consistent with the previous negotiated obligation. The last is just overall related to the plat. We are on the 1 yard line with reference to this plat. The plat note language that I just mentioned needs to get revised in accordance. There are final easements and a final back check necessary from Licking County Planning and all of the various agencies, and generally asking the board then to authorize the president of the Board of Trustees to execute the plat once that final back check has been conducted by Licking County Planning and all agencies. I threw a lot at you. I'll stop there, and if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I will move to approve all of those requests as stated by Mr. David Hodge. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion or questions?
Yes, I've discussed with Mr. Hodge my concerns, because I've had questions and concerns regarding what the attorney had indicated to us, and I'm not confident that any concerns were properly brought to our outside attorney, unless the board wants to waive it. How he responded was left a lot of things open. That it was more that, well, the concerns Mr. Burkholder brought to him, they seem fine, and, let me know if there's anything other concerns. I've been trying to, Mr. Burkholder blocks any access or response from the outside counsel to anybody but he. So I haven't been able to ask the questions I've had. I am concerned, number one, how it got split before. I believe Ms. McKee was over as president during this, and even the county was surprised that it went through. So there's been a lot of lack of oversight, and the whole thing with the maintenance, who decides what maintenance is required? I know you said it's monthly, but is that weed whacking? Is that brush hogging? Is that pretty much lawn landscaping? Like what is the maintenance that is required?
Yeah, there are plat notes associated with what that maintenance needs to be. I think that with a basin, there's also oversight by the various county agencies.
But is it in the description here of what that maintenance is, so that it's clear, so that we don't have to fight that, well, we thought it was this? Because we have a lot of developers that the maintenance of open land is to brush hog it every couple months.
Well, this thing has been winding through the process for so long, Mr. Evans, I don't know.
And that was one of my questions to the attorney that wasn't allowed to be asked. And I don't see it in here. And again, maintenance to one person could be different than another. And if we want to try to use that as a recreational facility, or maybe fishing, whatever, I think there's different levels to that. So
Yeah,
how is that addressed?
Yeah, so somewhere, as I mentioned, there are unfortunately a lot of different governing documents associated with this development, just the way it kind of played out over time. Somewhere within those various governing documents, perhaps the deed of the property over to the township. I think that's where it was, Mr. Burkholder. You and I worked on this, it's been almost years now.
You mean the lot split?
On the acquisition, the transfer of the, what was the back portion of the Langle family's property over to the township, I think we included precise language regarding pond maintenance back then in that document. So the language exists, Mr. Evans, and I don't have that with me here, but we did work through, negotiate, and I'm 99.9% positive this board approved that ongoing maintenance language.
Because in here it says, you know, the placement gravel, stone, cement, and bituminous aggregate with an approved driveway and apron, you know, stuff like that. But the removal and trimming of vegetation and tree debris within the easement area where applicable, again, that kind of leaves it to interpretation. Trimming, you can just kind of whack through there. If this is land that we purchased, we paid for, that I didn't agree that is allowed to be used for the drainage of the commercial property and that. But with that, I think we have the expectation that it's gonna be nice, a fishing pond. Even Mr. Johnson mentioned something like that before. I just don't see the language in here rising to that level of maintenance. So isn't that gonna be maybe an ongoing issue if it's not clearly defined?
The language is clearly defined. There is by operation of law, mandatory oversight of the maintenance of that, not just in the plat note getting at the township, the ability to provide maintenance oversight, but it also exists within the parameters of the, this is not on ditch petition, but the Franklin County Engineer, the Licking County Engineer's Office has oversight. Soil and Water Conservation has oversight, so the mechanisms are in place.
But if you say oversight, but what is our legal,
Well,
I guess,
this-
that's my concern.
Well, fine, but it referred to, and as far as Brody, we copied it, he said he saw no problem with the language, so I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Evans.
That's not what, do you want to release, do you want to make the email
It's been 3
non-privileged?
minutes, is there any further?
Would
do
you like
have
to
any
make the email
discussion?
non-privileged
Ms. McKee?
so we can show people the
Do you
concern?
have anything?
He doesn't want
Well,
people to know.
I do remember us talking about making sure that there was a fishing pond that would be well stocked. So I know that was a part of that as well, Mr. Evans,
But it's not in there.
but it's not in there. So I do remember that.
That's my-
We had
that's
an
just my
intense
concern.
conversation about that, yeah.
And I wish I could have spoke to our attorney about that.
Yes, you know, certainly
I could
those
make that
issues
to you
are
last
outside-
meeting.
Yeah, those issues are outside of my control. I'm, here trying to score a touchdown with a project on the 1 yard line. All T's have been crossed, all I's have been dotted. This has been a long time coming, and I'm hopeful that we can move on with this plat, get everything finalized and recorded, and complete the development.
I just think we're missing some P's and Q's. I's and T's may be dotted and crossed, but we don't have that. And again, it could have been something simple of a question to Mr. Conover, but again, Mr. Burkholder
That's
would
not
not allow
correct.
that.
That's not correct, Mr.
It is
Evans.
correct, sir.
This gentleman has been here month after month after month, and he provided documents the previous time, and I never heard a
So you're
question.
saying that I had the
I'm not
opportunity to
saying,
speak with
I'm
Mr.
not saying,
Conover?
I'm not saying anything.
Because you
We
don't
sent
want-
that out. Well, Mr. Evans, you can say what you want. I'm not gonna argue with
Let's
you.
go ahead and call for it.
I just don't think
You
this
have-
is
Ms. McKee,
protecting us.
roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
No.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes,
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Thank you all very
motion
much.
passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Wait, can I ask a question?
But it depends on residents.
We have the issue of authorization of more clerical help.
That must be the timer again. You know, you could put the phone on Do Not Disturb, sir.
Mr. Evans,
Well, it's another call.
It's not a call, so you can make whatever accusations you want, but we're gonna move on here.
That was another.
We're gonna
3 minute
take
time?
care of the township's business. There's a motion to approve authorization for additional clerical help. That was tabled on 3/18/25. Is there any motion to deal with this at this time?
Yeah, I'll move to approve authorization for additional clerk.
Well, you gotta take it
Or
off the table.
I move to take it off the table.
There's a motion, oh wait, Ms. McKee, there's a motion to take clerical help off the table for discussion or action. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second? Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes, it's off the table. What's the pleasure of the board?
Well, I move to approve authorization for seeking additional full-time clerical help with the job description as I had provided.
Is there a second?
I'll second for discussion. Again, we just hired an administrator, and they will be over the office staff. I feel confident that this new administrator can take an inventory of the office, work with the staff that we have now, try to figure out some kind of management, like time management, so to speak, to see what's needed in the township office staff. Right now, I don't still see a need of hiring another person. We have the same work we've had before with 2 staff, and I don't see the need to hire another person in that office as of now. Not saying it won't change in the future, but as of now, I don't see that being a priority for the township to spend more money to hire.
status-
Let her finish first.
I
She
thought
has
she was
3
done.
minutes. Go ahead. Do you have
I'm
any?
finished.
You're finished, Mr. Evans?
Well, the status quo is what got us here. We don't have working files, we can't find records, things aren't being addressed properly.
You're out of-
we're in
Mr. Evans,
the
you're out of order
weeds. No,
again.
I am not out of order.
Stay on the question at hand,
This
please.
is, Mr. Burkholder, your interruptions are out of order.
Well,
We need help. Our administrative assistant has too much on her shoulders of dealing with the various boards, the zoning inspector, the this, that, and the other, what you're having her do. And all this stuff, we are so, if you look back in that office and all this stuff, we don't have a master calendar. We don't have procedures down. We're missing stuff. We had reports done due on March 1st. Nothing's being addressed, and to say, well, we had one person doing it before, yeah, and it turned into a mess. So we need to dig out of this hole, provide proper staffing to do it, and address all the issues. I'm sure Mr. Walker is overwhelmed with the immense amount of permits and complaints and everything, and that's where Ms. Palumbo can address more if she has the help to deal with answering the phones and dealing with more of the mundane stuff. Why don't we give our employees the help that they need? That's what I'm saying. And more delay is just more delay. We need it. We don't need somebody else to come in here and say we need it. We need it. Haven't you two didn't do an evaluation yourselves? I mean, I have for over 3 years of what we needed in that. We don't need somebody else that hasn't been a part of this township for years to tell us what we need. I know what we need. So that's all I have to say.
okay, very good. Well, there's been a lack of consensus on what direction here, and we have a little over a week, well, maybe almost 2 weeks, our new administrator's coming, so that's the only comments I have. That person actually has a lot of experience in HR, and I think that's important. So I have nothing else, and we've all had our discussion, so roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
No.
Ms. McKee?
No.
Motion fails. Prosecutor requests and responses, NCAA intergovernmental agreement. I don't have anything more. We're dealing with a lot of public record requests. I'm not bringing that forward for any action tonight because we have, right now, we're trying to deal with these many record requests we have to come into compliance. And that has taken up a tremendous amount of time of the fiscal officer and all three trustees trying to catch up on those records requests and come into compliance with the many requests that we have. That's all I have to report.
Well, I requested that we deal with the issues, authorizing the prosecutor request, because we have to get this through a resolution. Why delay? Again, the Summit Road, what Mr. Hanson said was not truthful. Mr. Begbie was supposed to, this is my 3 minutes. This is on point, sir. Stop your nonsense, please.
You will not insult the audience.
Mr. Begbie was supposed to get the legal documents that gave them the control to expand the road. Our road superintendent didn't even know anything about that. This was their responsibility. We've been plowing it, we've been maintaining it and that. But with the state of our records, maybe that was done, but we don't know. So the prosecutor needs to research this because they're moving forward. And then also, I've brought this up time and time again that we need a prosecutor's opinion that you're limiting people at special meetings on their public comments. I've spoken to numerous attorneys, even the attorney for the water board, saying that is not legal. You can't limit it to them. And you know who said that was so? The former secretary, who has been wrong on many things. We got to do what's right. And why you won't get an opinion on that while you still limit people's free speech rights is astounding. But while you're talking about public records requests, I'm denied materials as a trustee routinely. So I have to submit public records requests. And Mr. Burkholder, Ms. McKee, and Ms. Coutinho ignore everyone.
You are out of order.
No, I am not.
Let the
this
record show
this is the point that no records requests, it's not even acknowledged. It's just ignored, and there's gonna be another lawsuit if it keeps up. It's ridiculous. These are public records. It is not your records. And Mr. Burkholder, you're trying to hide that Miss Varian called you and told you that she accessed the bank stuff by refusing your call logs. Why? What are you afraid of? Why are you doing it politically to withhold it? Release all the records now. I've been pushing for a prosecutor's opinion to deal with the records requests since I think it was last September or August, because you were ignoring it back then. And you ignored it every time. I've got video of it. And now you're acting like, oh, I'm glad we're finally releasing the stuff. But release it all. That's all I have to say.
Very good. Okay, the next one, the trouble contract. I have nothing on this. I know the previous administrator, Susan Bedsole, was working with Mr. Evans on this, so where does it stand, Mr. Evans?
I'm in contact with the prosecutor, still getting all the information together to him, because one of the complaints of the prosecutor and the others is that the information that they receive is not inclusive of everything, and not throwing 18 different emails or just not sending them anything. So it's taken a while to compose everything and have them do a proper review of that all. And it does include records requests that have been refused before, and they're still trying to claim that all communications are privileged, which they're not. I hope to go, what's that?
No, go ahead.
The trouble representative. Even in emails, they're saying privilege, everything. They even claim that the contract and the proposal is privileged, and it's not. And that's why I don't think they're a good partner, but that's being handled with the prosecutor. In the next meeting, I'll have an update with that.
Do you have anything, Ms. McKee? Is there a motion regarding video streaming?
Yes, I move to approve the purchase of the live streaming camera minus the board that was previously proposed and listed in the B&H quote to allow for plug and play live streaming of all our township meetings. It would be at a cost, I think the total estimate with our IT department was just over 2,000. The camera was, I think, 1,200. Has the capability if you want to follow speakers, but I think that's not needed. You just have it static, but if you want to change it. But it is point and zoom, so if you have different activities here, you can change it. We've got the plug ready to go, the power plug, and just have to put it up and get the cables to it. That's it. So this is my 4th proposal. I've been trying to get this
Well,
done.
we're not in discussion, so
Okay,
is
well,
there a
that's my
second,
motion.
is there a second
For
to
the
the,
purchase
is there
of
a
the
second
camera.
to the motion?
And installation.
Is there a second to
Correct,
the
sir.
motion? Is there a second to the motion? Hearing none, the motion fails.
They don't want you to see the meetings.
You're out of order, Mr. Evans. Public records update, as I've said, tremendous amount of work being done to try to get us back into public records updates and to satisfy the many ones that we have. Is there anything the board would like to say?
Yeah, when are you gonna fulfill mine?
Mr. Evans, we did send you a letter the other day.
No, that was on your one video. I have numerous requests and they will be listed in the complaint if they're not addressed. These are simple documents and many of them relate to when there was the, I'll be nice to say, the untruth about the employees not being paid.
Mr.
And
Evans,
all
I'm
that,
telling
so.
you, I'm warning you, that's not the
No.
proper thing.
I sent the warning to the board that there will be a lawsuit
Okay.
if they're withheld.
Okay.
And to hear the fiscal officer say good instead of just
Mr.
supplying
Evans?
the records
Ms. McKee, do
is
you have anything?
despicable.
We'll move on then.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to, I don't know what word you want to use, Mr. Evans, appoint or approve or permit, something that's already been done. But my motion is to have Trustee Evans take on the hall maintenance, again, doors, cupola, lighting, concrete repair, bathroom drainage, and exterior envelope maintenance, and the front building striping and possibly railing or any other items that are currently deficient with the town hall. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
Yeah, are you gonna allow me to actually do it? Because I handled the roof leak and the roof falling in that you ignored for over a year.
Mr. Evans?
And you lied, you actually lied at that last
off.
meeting, saying that I knew about it for
Mr. Evans,
3 years.
it clearly
No.
says you are out of order.
No,
to
this
use
is
any
about
kind of-
this. This is about
You
how
are
the
out
board
of order
handles
to call
this.
people liars.
No.
You need
Okay,
to stop.
you were not truthful when you said I knew about it for 3 years. I learned about it through an employee that was frustrated it wasn't being handled by you, sir. So, and again, I brought the bids to have it done. We approved it, but we needed a change, and you refused to add it to the agenda, so it was delayed. Then you refused again, and it was delayed. So I attempt to address items, but this board stifles it time and time again. So are you gonna stop blocking what's needed? You laughed, sir. The roof was falling in for a year and you did nothing. We needed purchases, you did nothing. People are frustrated in this township. They might not say it to you, but they are. And I'm frustrated that I do the work, streaming. How many proposals have I done? Another one. Block, block, block. The roof, block, block, block. Can't even discuss it. So what, do you want me to get quotes for the concrete so we can ignore it? Do you want to get, like, what are you going to allow? I mean, it's ridiculous. These things are very simple. I mean, everything, like the issue with the plumbing. We need to have the plumbing redone because there's 3 spots, 1 in that bathroom, 2 outside there. That one will just have to stay for a while, but the 2 outside are gonna need to be coordinated with the Pike Street project to deal with, to dig it up and properly properly slope it to get those out, because especially if we're gonna be expanding back there, we're gonna be tying in, that needs to be addressed. But do you want me to get quotes so you can block it and ignore it for months? That's my question, because that's the history with the roof.
You
blocked
have
it.
30 seconds.
Yeah, you blocked it time and time again. I could do a video montage of you refusing to even discuss it when we needed the prosecutor approval. You didn't, so we had to have the special meeting. Then for the contract change, block it, then we had to have the special meeting. So for each of these,
You're off
are you
topic,
gonna do
sir.
that?
You're off topic.
You're trying to list all these things
Your
for
time-
political
your-
purposes,
your-
but I'm actually trying to address these
Your
things.
time has
and you're
expired.
blocking.
Your time has expired.
So when are you gonna stop blocking?
Your time has expired. Mrs. McKee?
Let's go to the next, I have nothing on that.
You've ignored
All
things
I-
for over a year.
Mr. Evans, your time expired. All I can say is if you're constantly blocked, maybe you should call a plumber.
I'm glad you find
Roll-
humor
roll
in
call.
the people
Roll
that
call,
came to
please.
this township
Roll
hall
call, please.
that couldn't use the restroom and you make fun of it.
Control yourself.
Mr. Evans? Yes or no?
Yes,
We
sir.
already voted on this.
No.
No.
We're
Not
in
this motion,
discussion.
Adam.
No, previously. So you're bringing the same, you even said it in your motion that we already dealt with this. So it doesn't need to be dealt with,
Yeah.
so no.
I recall, since I only had one comment, I recall very vividly that I sat here and that vendor came in and did an assessment of the building. We came in, you had questions, you said, well, I don't exactly agree with this or that, and that was last year. And I said, well, here, take it, go ahead, start on it. Do
And you
whatever
won't
need to
allow
do.
anything.
That's not true, but, okay.
Just like we
I
needed the
think-
post pounder
I
for
think-
over
I
a
think
year,
the-
and
I
you
think-
couldn't, you
off
wouldn't do
topic.
that.
I'll,
I had to
roll
get
call,
that.
please.
And the superintendent had
Mr.
to.
Evans?
I already said no.
Oh, you
Mr.
did?
Burkholder?
Yeah,
Well, yes.
because we already dealt with it.
Yes, no. If you say no, I vote yes. How do you vote?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, you can get to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, investigation information. I talked to legal counsel today. They will be conducting interviews very soon, and that's all I have to say at this time.
And what's amazing about that is, when did this happen? When did we authorize it? And we're just getting to it.
This
So
is-
this
this
is my time. This is
No,
another
this is-
Burkholder delay.
There's no motion here.
And, no, this is discussion. So you said we have to, if you have discussion, we can have discussion. So again, I've been pushing for this to be discussed, and this investigation should include the fiscal officer not paying our employees and lying about it, but also,
It's not
Mr.
appropriate.
Burkholder,
It's not appropriate to talk about the
we've tried
investigation.
to get information on this, and like I said, the former fiscal officer said she called you on December 13th. He won't release his call logs because guess what? It's gonna show a call from December 13th where she said she accessed it helping Ms. Coutinho. She's been helping Ms. Coutinho, and Ms. Coutinho, this is my time, and Ms. Coutinho failed to release requested records about prior access. So all this stuff about access is ridiculous, because if anybody knew anything, to access it from your phone, the bank has to send you a code to be able to operate that app. They never did to me. It wasn't me. I was 2 hours away from that IP, and I proved it. Mr. Burkholder's doing this for political purposes only and delaying this again. When was this authorized? Back in January, was it? And we're in April? Another Burkholder mismanagement.
No.
Yep. Ignore it and
You
don't
got
deal
about
with it.
a minute, 30 seconds still.
No, I'm done.
Okay, anything else? Fine, we'll move on. Approval of employee time off. We have two employees, both Ms. Palumbo and Mr. Walker, that have requested time off. You should have that. I'll make a motion to approve both of those as requested. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr.
We're not-
Evans?
Okay, guess no discussion, but.
You want the discussion?
Sure.
Discussion.
Yes. Why have discussion?
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, you already called roll.
No, we're here, your
Well, if
discussion.
you have any comments, now's your time.
Are we gonna work on the procedure manual and making sure people can take care of duties while they're gone? I've been pushing for that for over 3 years. I know I've gotten a couple of them, but that's something that, shouldn't that be done? That's all I have.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Diligent software. Is there a motion?
No, the discussion. Again, we don't have master calendar. We miss dates all the time, and we had an auto renewal that was 30 days prior to I think it was April 2nd. So, I mean, we're in the contract. I've spoken to them, and the one individual is out on medical, so I think that's why we have not had the updated invoice, but they've agreed to keep the same pricing instead of a 5% increase. So it'll stay at $8,000, not $8,400. What else was it? The other thing was, are we going to use the system? We're paying $8,000 a year for the system. The documents aren't even being uploaded in here. We don't have the payments. We don't have, the whole point of this was to be transparent to the public and to be efficient to the board. Keep printing everything. Again, it can be in the system. We can use it. We're talking about buying new laptops, not using them. I mean, unless you're playing Minecraft or something. But the system is not fully implemented. I tried to. Mr. Burkholder interfered with that, wouldn't allow it to move through, and it's a great system. I keep hearing all these problems of we can't this, that, other. Carbondale, school districts, that everybody's using it with success except us for some reason. And that's an implementation problem, but I'm not allowed to help anymore. I was before every agenda of, hey, make sure this is right, make sure all this stuff, but that's not allowed because it's drafted in here and then sent out. Even the stuff, we don't have to send out emails to people. People can self-serve and say, hey, I want trustee agenda items, I want this, I want that, and it's just done. So that would be less time for our administrative assistant to deal with, but you're not allowing that to happen, Mr. Burkholder. So, yes, it is. How do you keep saying you're not doing it when you're overseeing all the employees that deal with this stuff? You have total control of this. Anybody that says the mess in this township is me, I haven't had control for over 3 years. It's been these two keeping control of everything and not getting anything done and not allowing anything done.
30 seconds.
But are we going to, I don't need a countdown, sir. We're spending $8,000 a year on this, and it's not even 15% used, probably less than 10. Why? Why don't you, and again, this is a lack of oversight.
Your time has expired.
It's a lack of
Ms.
oversight by the
McKee,
leadership.
your time has expired, sir.
Yep,
Ms.
yes,
McKee,
May I say one
Yes,
thing?
please
Yes,
do.
you may.
Someone's
You
gonna
have
ask
the
you.
floor.
Please speak up.
you have the floor.
So I have logged into the system and I check before, as far as roll call is concerned, before the meeting starts. It was fine this morning. I go in to log in to do the roll call. There's 2 voting members in the roll call, which are Burkholder and Spurgeon. He is not there, and neither is Evans. So when I go to do the vote, I have to write them on paper because I can't do the drop box. Because once again, Diligent has messed up the roll call for our meetings.
Thank you for that. Ms. Continua, do you have possibly some comments regarding the pricing? Is the pricing being correctly quoted, or?
I know that it's 8,400, that's the last bill I have, is 8,400. I don't have the updated bill.
At the last meeting,
At the last
Ms.
meeting.
Coutinho mentioned it was like 9,000 something. That included tax, which should not be in there. They're removing that. There was 8,000, and in our auto renewal contract, again, if we had a master calendar, we would know what's coming up and address it at the meeting. That is 5%, so that's the 400, but again, they're willing to reduce it. If we're gonna try to.
Do we have that?
No, as I stated just a little bit ago, that we don't have the updated
We do
invoicing
not have the updated.
because the woman is out on medical leave.
Okay, very good. We'll move on then. Plumbing invoice discount, item C.
Yeah, just so we are a government entity, and with that being said, we as a government entity or even an elected official, we are not to ask a company that we're doing business for a discount. That is considered conflict of interest. That is something that the Ohio Ethics call, it's under the Ohio Revised Code, section 102.03. So I would just advise that the trustee be very careful of asking for discounts when you're doing business with vendors.
And what Ms. McKee is alluding to is I came here on, I think it was a Sunday night when the resident had family and friends here with no restrooms working, which Mr. Burkholder laughed about earlier.
You're out of order. I'm not laughing about that,
And
Mr. Evans.
So I came here, got the contract here, and again, we don't even have vendor lists of who to go to in that. I thank the administrative assistant for finding out.
Get to the
I
point.
am getting to it, but this is important, how much it's mismanaged. But I did not ask for a discount. They gave a discount that they gave everybody.
Well, that's not what you said on
And
Facebook.
this
Mr.
is my
Evans.
time, Ms. McKee. And it was $25 that they give to everybody. If you want to pay that $25, pay it. I didn't ask for it. I didn't require it. I didn't twist arms. I didn't. He said that they give it to everybody.
We're gonna move on. If this is not right to have a motion to purchase laptops, I know it's been discussed. It's something we are gonna need. I appreciate the comments that were made here tonight. We're gonna be working with Mr. Spurgeon on this as far as we do need some technology things, but unless we're gonna take action tonight, there's no reason to take up more time having a discussion.
Well, just quickly, I'd like to
What do you
say,
need if we get it from Mr. Spurgeon?
Yes.
We need to purchase.
don't we have the former administrator's computer?
It's not charging.
Yeah, it only works when it's on the charger.
It only works when it's on the charger.
Has our IT looked at it, that it could be repaired, or?
I don't think they have. I'm not
As
sure.
far as,
I think that would be
we don't have an
wise.
IT staff.
Let's get to America 250 now. We'll bring this back to us and we'll discuss with Mr. Spurgeon. Is there a motion to approve the America 250 Ohio Communities Buckeye Train?
So moved.
I'll
Moved
second
by
with
second
the
by Ms.
discussion.
Go ahead.
Yes, I'll second that motion with the discussion, please.
Go
I
ahead.
would like to ask that the Ohio legislation and the governor created an American 250 Ohio in 2021 to plan and encourage and develop and coordinate the commemoration of the 250th anniversary United States of the Ohio integral role in the event and the role of its people on the nation's past, present, and future. Whereas America 250 Ohio hopes to engage all Ohioans in all 88 counties through their many signatures, officially recognized programs, projects, and events over the next several years by inspiring future leaders and celebrating the all Ohioans' contribution to the nation over the last 250 years, and whereas by the adoption of the American 250 Ohio resolution, we hope to educate, preserve, and innovate and celebrate. Now, therefore, I would ask that this resolution be considered for the Board of Trustees for Etna Township, and I would also ask that Christy, I'm sorry, the last name?
Christy
Mead be appointed as the liaison for Etna Township. And if you would like to come up to the podium and have a
There was a
discussion.
motion on the floor, you seconded it, so
That's
you're
right,
doing.
exactly. So we'll vote, and she can speak after that, Mr. Evans.
So, first of all, come on up, Christie, if you want to say a few words, and then we'll,
Correct. Thank you, Mr.
I'm supportive, let me just say, I don't need to say a whole lot.
I guess I don't have anything else other than we would have to form a committee, of course, accepting the resolution.
That's right.
for that, but we can't do that until that happens. But if there are any questions for me, I would ask that you ask me tomorrow. Because until we're able to get things rolling, I can't get the additional information.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I will try my best to get that information. Some of it might be contacting the Ohio, American 250 Ohio. You know, we have that, we have to fill out the application, all that good stuff. So with that, then I will know the next step.
That'll be great.
Well, just so people know, the residents, Christie being the Ohio Historic Society president, this is your bailiwick, correct?
Mhm.
It's your back,
Definitely
your
a
backstory.
passion project.
A passion,
So.
yeah.
Thank you.
So we are lucky to have somebody like her in our township to want to do it for us. Thank you.
Any further discussion by the board?
Yeah, I did have a question. I'm confused, Ms. McKee. Did she move to amend the motion? Or was there something in the resolution that appoints?
I think it's official, if I can answer that. I think I don't know that it's a motion so much as the motion should maybe be accepting the resolution.
That's what I,
That is
So
the way it
so
should be.
we'll
I
move
think,
forward with this.
Is my understanding.
well, that's why I moved for the resolution for that. That's what.
So if we have to come back and actually pass a resolution, but this is to move forward.
No, but this is the,
This is
This
the
is-
motion
this
the
is the actual
this is
resolution.
resolution, so,
What Ms. McKee read was the resolution.
Yes.
So,
so
So that
what,
it's not,
But we would have to adopt it as a board, as a
Which is
township,
what
as
we're
a
doing,
board.
right.
Yeah, we would have to adopt it.
what's our resolution number we're on?
This,
2021, I think.
I think she's right.
That's what I was asking.
Let's pass the resolution first, so,
Well, we gotta have the resolution number.
well, I know, but that's what I'm saying now. There's gonna be any kind of subsequent appointment as far as liaison, if we
Yeah.
have to separate, I don't know that to be
The re-
the case.
21?
So resolution 2025-021.
Correct.
Ready?
Yep.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes,
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
motion passes. Sir,
Then Can we move to appoint Ms. Mead as the
Yeah.
chair and then to form the committee?
so moved, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Congratulations.
okay.
Is there a motion relative to Resolution 2025-20020 to approve purchase orders?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. McKee, any
Yes.
discussion?
No.
Mr. Evans?
The only thing with the PO, are you wanting to pay that $25 increase? Ms. McKee?
Yes, sir, this is a business meeting, and we're not going to go back and forth with Mr. Evans.
Yeah, we're not gonna go.
No,
back
I'm
to
asking a
the
question.
previous-
You thought,
I'm
if you
not gonna
thought it was
step to your bar,
improper,
Mr.
do you want to pay
Make
that
a-
additional
I'm
$25?
just
Make a-
not
make a
gonna get
comment.
petty with you.
No, it's not petty. I'm
No,
asking.
you are. You very much so.
So we don't want to pay.
Mr. Evans, anything else?
I already wrote the check.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes,
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
motion passes. Motion to ratify, is there a motion to ratify the payment of the bills as shown on the payment listing?
So moved.
I'll second.
Hold on, it's not in the system, so I gotta pull it up in email.
I sent out the email. I do not
Right,
know-
but it should be in the system.
I do not know how to attach it in the system, thank you.
Our administrative assistant can inform you. I did have a question, I thought, on one. Where was it? The David Fulmer 220, what was that?
That's a reimburse, it's, for the zoning board for last year. His check has never made it to him, so.
Okay, I just wanted, it was just unusual for
Same
that
with Ted
amount.
Walker. Neither one of their checks made it to them. They got lost.
Yeah, in the mail. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item C, health insurance renewal, June 1st, 2025.
At last, I talked to her last week, we are still waiting on 3 form fires to be finished.
Who are those?
Mr. Evans,
Nope, I did it.
uh.
I know, I saw Mr. Burkholder was one.
I am the
No.
last one.
No, I did mine. She
Ms.
verified
Lobo
it.
and Mr. Terry. Holmes.
Mr. Holmes.
But he told me the other day he did it, so I sent her a note today to ask her the update, so hopefully we get an update.
Very good, thank you. Tarma, questions?
We are waiting on Otarma to give us a renewal. They had a system update, so everything is put behind. We still have Otarma insurance, and they said it's their problem, not ours.
And this is where I asked for an item on the risk assessment. I keep
I
being
think
told
I
that
said
everything's fine, but we need to complete the risk assessment. Michael from our Tower reached out. He was the same individual from 3 years ago that we went through. We have to do it. So I did it last time with him. I don't know what the board's pleasure is, if you're gonna put this to the fiscal officer or what, but it needs to be addressed.
What did he tell you, Ms. Coutinho?
I didn't talk to Michael, I talked to Wendy French, and she said we don't need anything else right now. We just
Because-
did it in September.
These are, no,
It was done last year.
It was.
no, it wasn't done last year.
They
The risk assessment is every 3 years. This is what I'm saying, you guys don't understand what's going on.
Well, then, can you?
It's a
have-
three-year period that we get reevaluated. That's when they found out that, oh, we're having fireworks. They were very concerned, and so they go through and evaluate our risk. We have to go through all that stuff. So
Didn't
again,
they come and do the buildings when
Yeah.
they came and appraised the buildings last year?
that's an appraisal. That is
No,
not
they
a
went through-
risk assessment. Again, I'm banging my head against the wall. This is very simple. It's a
Okay.
risk assessment that,
Mr. Evans, would you please get with the fiscal officer and get Michael, so all 3 of you are on the same page, and we'll get it resolved?
all
Is
right,
that okay? That work?
no, who's gonna do it? Who's gonna fill it out? Who's going to? It's not something that
You
you
did
just
it for-
talk about and that, it's
I-
actually
okay.
forms, it's
Well,
actually.
I move that
Ms.
Mr.
Burkholder, you were a
I
trustee for
move-
4 years before,
I-
you should have dealt with this before.
Mr. Evans,
And you're
I
acting like
move,
it's new.
Mr. Evans,
Mr. Burkholder,
I move, yes, go ahead.
can you have the Otarma guy call me? Because Wendy's telling me one thing and you're telling me another thing.
Because it's 2 separate things. I explained that to you in several emails.
Well, Mr. Evans, I move that you deal with this issue since you've done it before. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes?
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Yes, very good, got it done. Transfers, anything on transfers? I know we talked about it at the previous meeting. I don't think we're ready to discuss investment policy, so do you have anything else?
Yeah, I
Ms.
have the bank statement.
Okay,
We got $10 million in the bank. Of that, last month, we got $360,000 from the jets and $1.135 from the property taxes. We paid out $164,000 last month, and we got the $1.576 million.
And again, could I just ask that these be included in the system so that they're available to the public? It's very easy to attach.
okay, public records.
Public
Public comments, anyone that wants to speak at this time. Name and address, please, and please address the board.
Ryan Davis, 8807 Watkins Road. I'm going to do my best to summarize my thoughts of a 2-hour meeting in 2 minutes or less. Mr. Evans, the only reason I bring your name up so much is because you bring my name up and engage me in vigorous debate that I do not want to debate in Facebook, because it's more comfortable for you to do it behind a keyboard than it is when I get up here and speak in person, because I address you directly. I just want to let you know that you did give me the most revolutionary comment that you made this evening, saying that you haven't had control for 3 years. So I think that's what you've basically said, is you're looking for somebody else to sit up there with you and give you control. Because all the problems will go away when you have control. I video you wagging and harassing and saying derogatory negative comments to your fellow co-workers and staff, and you wave at me like I'm some cheesy, I don't know what's going through your mind, but it's so embarrassing for everyone that's sitting back here that you're getting ready to go in executive session, that they had to sit through 2 hours of every time Mr. Burkholder or Ms. McKee bring up a topic, raising your voice in your mind makes you correct. It's not true. It's not true. You've said 4 proposals for streaming. I would like you to provide those. You've brought it up multiple times. We've brought up things 40 times. But you use vague generalities, and it drives me crazy. The people are tired of it. If there's so many legal mistakes that the board is making, I expect to see half a dozen different lawsuits that are being brought by the Attorney General next time, because you cannot call them corrupt and you cannot call them breaking the law and do your job as a trustee without addressing it in detail. You cannot give vague platitudes to the crowd and to Facebook and accomplish anything. And Mr. Burkholder magically made a 10-year leak in the roof appear as soon as he took office. Weren't you in charge of maintenance the first couple of years?
Yes.
I think you were. So there's so many things that you look through your lenses, and I think people, I don't have to say it, I think people around here are smart enough to see for themselves. Thank you.
May I say one more thing? We forgot to talk about Indeed.
We didn't add it to, I tried to add it to the agenda. Mr. Burkholder and Ms. McKee refused.
Whoa, how did I get involved in that?
I want to
You didn't amend the agenda.
talk about Indeed because I
Let-
want to
let-
stop
let
it.
the-
Mr. Evans?
Let's-
Why did you say
You
no?
refused
Hold
because you
on.
both refused.
I don't.
Let's
you can't do
let,
that.
let's
Stop
let,
it.
We voted today
let's
to amend the agenda and
let,
you refused.
let our resident speak first, and I will go back to the fiscal officer.
Thank you. I'm
Phyllis
sorry.
Bundy, 10254 Tollgate Road. First of all, I would like to say tell Bubba, I'm sorry to hear that our speed sign is going to be moved, because people are still speeding on Tollgate Road. But now they are passing at the top of the bridge. They are passing on the bridge. So do I need to contact the sheriff's office about that? Is that who I need to contact?
Absolutely.
Okay. The other thing is about the, when you're talking about you want to have the mower max, is that the name of it, mower max? I understand how you want to do it this way, like over in the new park and all that kind of thing, but will you also be using it to chop the trees off? They look so bad.
Yeah, the overhang,
Yeah.
the saw blade will be able to move 90 degrees.
Okay, but, so then you said if citizens didn't want that and they want to trim their own trees, do we contact you or something?
I didn't say that.
I brought that up saying, should we, as part of this, give
Oh,
people the opportunity to do it, because I think it's gonna upset some people that maybe they'll want it pruned instead of just that.
Chopped off.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, that was all I need to know. Thanks.
very good. Thanks for that clarification. Anyone else at this time? Name and address, please.
Nita Hansen, 51 Ridgewood Drive, Southwest. I don't often take this podium, but meeting after meeting, I'm discussed, I'm accused. I sit in these meetings as a concerned citizen of 20 years of Etna Township. I sit in these meetings as a concerned property owner and business owner in Etna Township. Mr. Evans needs to stop harassing me, bad-mouthing other residents. It is not leadership for you to do that, Mr. Evans. And I'm sorry, I can only remain silent for so long. And then I must say that personally, as a resident of Etna Township, please keep me out of your discussions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else at this time? Yes, sir.
John Hanson, Ridgewood Drive, Etna, Ohio. So maybe the new process for getting a response on public records, I did get a response from Jackie, but I haven't got any response on these public records. And I think half of them are about Evans and half of them are ones that Jackie will probably be able to take care of. It would be nice to at least get an email back saying we got these, and you're pointing at him.
No, Ms. Coutinho is in charge of the public records.
Let him finish, Mr. Evans.
Anyway,
Thank you.
all the public records that are held up, about 90% of our requests for the last year or so are Mark Evans emails that he's held up. Emails, audios, videos, that type of stuff. And what I'm trying to come up with, and the reason we're looking at all this, I would like the people to understand the cost of Mr. Evans, which is far exceeding 200-some thousand. He spent 160,000 chasing us with these bad decisions. That includes workplace bullying, the settlements, the legal fees, the suing themselves. They actually, this township sued theirself. Yeah, point at him. Takes two. It was you, Mr. Evans.
And who mishandled it?
Who mishandled
Who
it?
didn't show up? Get an attorney to show up.
It wouldn't have mattered. You can't sue
Yep.
yourself in that case.
Mhm.
You had no standing. You got knocked out on 5 points for no
Because there was
standing.
no representation.
Because there was no case. It was idiotic.
Okay, let's finish up your comments, please.
Anyway, you spent 157,000 bullying my family. I'm not sure about other families. When you were once the president for a few months, you spent up to 65,000 chasing a former trustee. And, you know, you're just a vindictive mess. You know, I don't have anything personally against you, but for the township, you are a horrible leader. You can't build any coalitions. You've driven out 10 people, 3 administrators, 3 employees, and you're working already on the new administrator that's not even got here. You've already threatened, you've told him to make sure you understand this is a temporary position. This is idiotic to set the township up for a lawsuit. And, you know, you're a Facebook lawyer. You're out there all the time advising everybody. Figure it out or go retake some of the courses.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sir?
Matthew out there, 46 Cedar Park Boulevard.
Talk into the mic.
Please. Sorry, I'm a little bit taller than others.
Yes, you are.
2 hours for an hour and 15 worth of business. And I won't sit here and say that it's one person's fault. A board functions as one unit. There is no other way to that. It's time that the board function as one for the residents of this township. You know, I hear a lot of, you know, digs at certain staff. We have a small staff in this township, and given what they deal with and what the township deals with, they're a good damn staff. Are they perfect? No. You know, I work for a company of 160. I have 10 direct reports. I have another 5 indirect reports. Are they all great employees? No, no. I got one who quit on me this week, made my load a lot lighter. Did I fire him? No, because he still showed up every day and did the best he could, and he worked with what you got. You got a staff that shows up and does what they can. Let's support them instead of taking digs at them. Let's work to make the township better one step at a time. And 2 hours to go over an hour and 15 minutes of business, I only give it that much time because we had a great presentation by 2 people at the front end of this. And the meeting's not even done. And I think the residents deserve to know whether there's going to be any decision made after 2 important executive sessions when there's nothing on the agenda to clarify whether will be or won't be before we sit around for another 2 hours. That's it.
Well, I do want to address that quickly. There will be no action taken on either one of those items tonight, so I appreciate
As I
that.
stated.
Well, you got somebody else coming
You
up.
go. No, sorry. Bring this down to a lower level.
Steve Mead, 245 Hillview Drive Southwest. I just want to take a moment to express my disappointment that the motion for video live streaming was not approved. I heard we have $10 million in the bank and we can't spare $2,000 to live stream our meetings so that people who can't get here can see what's going on? Why?
That is live streaming, is it not?
Yeah.
It's a personal account on a Facebook account.
But again, I don't think you understood. We
But
are
are
trying
we
to-
having trustee comments here?
Who wants to answer?
I'm
Yes, sir.
It's
Craig Zapper,
reasoning
79
behind it.
Trail
I'm
East.
trying to do one.
Go ahead.
I believe, Mr. Evans, when you ran for trustee, all you wanted to do was live stream. That's what you told everybody. You were president for 3 months. Where's the live streaming? You didn't get it done, correct?
They blocked
Well,
it.
You blocked as president.
Let's
Okay.
let's tone
Yeah,
it
it's
down.
not,
And I'm
it's
going to
not
read
a
this off your
ruler.
page.
Let's tone
sir.
it down, or I'll have you
Okay.
have to sit down.
Okay. This is
Please.
on Mark Evans' trustee page. I'm not going to say the resident's name. Here you go. Figure the fiscal officer wouldn't send it. I even asked about a discount and got it. And that's the plumbing bill. You're a liar, sir.
Yes, that's what I said. He said it.
Let's,
He asked.
I want
And
to, I want to
I've got
advise,
public comments.
I want to advise the audience as well as Mr. Evans that we will not tolerate those words. It's in Robert's Rules of Order. You don't call them a liar.
I'm fine with
You don't
that.
say they're not
You can lie
telling, you
all
don't say
want.
they're not telling the truth. So I appreciate the comments, but let's keep it civil.
Mark Evans, regarding Mr. Davis, I've attempted to discuss with you numerous times.
Mr. Evans, you will address the board, not the
This
audience.
is my time.
I don't care. You're
This
going
is
to address the board.
He lied.
Well, you're out of order.
I produce facts all the time. I don't just say things up here. And again, you say, where are the proposals? You did there was a records request done by Mr. Davis, and I forwarded them to him, so he has those. But again, he wants to come up here and be untruthful. I've tried numerous times when we're buying the security system for the second time for over $10,000, saying, just include a camera, was blocked by Ms. McKee. Regarding the speeding, we have officers.
Address the board.
I've tried 3 years. Stop it, Mr. Burkholder.
No.
You haven't told anybody else.
You are a
even
resident.
Mr. Rogers. So stop Roberts. But we have officers that we can direct, and I've proposed for 3 years straight that they be directed for traffic enforcement, targeted, advertised. And it's been blocked by Mr. Burkholder or Ms. McKee
You're out of order.
previously. No, that's on record. It might be in the minutes, it might not, because they're not always correct. There's just so much misinformation of, I can't work with anybody. I did quite well at the fire district because nobody was
all
withholding
men over
records.
there.
Nobody was breaking the law. Nobody was concealing things, hiding things. Those are normal people. Those aren't people that are incompetent, doing their own thing, trying to run for higher office and be higher in their political party. This is about the township and the nonsense going on here. Regarding the other thing, the code enforcement, we haven't had enforcement. We didn't even know how to enforce for so long. Mr. Burkholder, you were a trustee before and you didn't even know. You, I believe, handled zoning at one point as an inspector, did you not? And you don't even know. So it's astonishing that you do nothing to correct the zoning book that we're enforcing the stuff on and giving opinions to other people that are doing things. Like I said, we've got a fence that was installed as an accessory structure in front of the house, and that's not permitted. And time and time again, how many mistakes are going to be made here and not corrected? In 15 months, since you've been here, more than 15 months, You haven't done anything to ensure that we have continuing operations, a master calendar. You don't support staff. We keep hearing about, oh, I knew all about the leak and stuff. Again, did not. I had to hear it from an employee. But you know who I did knew about it? You, Mr. Burkholder. You also knew about the
You're out of time, Mr.
the
Evans.
signs
You can
that
sit
you
down
ignored.
now. You can sit down
The
now.
equipment.
You
You
can
don't
sit
support
down.
employees.
Show that Mr. Evans spent 3 minutes as a resident at the podium. Anyone else at this time? We want to try to keep this meeting moving along. Anyone else? I move to go
Wait a
into,
minute,
you ready?
Indeed.
Yes, go back. Go ahead.
Okay, we have Indeed that we're still putting out there for a planner position. It is now at $2,600. I'd like to stop it until we get a administrator in here to be able to. And when I went in to go see how to stop it, I need a 6-digit code that goes to Mr. Evans' phone.
Is there a motion to terminate Indeed?
I'll make a motion to terminate Indeed until further action is needed by our new administrator.
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion. This is an item that I tried to get on the agenda, and again, it was blocked by the 2 other trustees, but now we're just gonna deal with it. We can't handle anything properly here, apparently. I'm trying, but the other 2 just refuse to. Regarding Indeed, we have a password system that I put in place. So we have the password, this is my time. So we have the password, so we have the access, so we have all that. It's not being used except by myself. And Mr. Burkholder was over Ms. Betzel, the administrator.
You're
She had
out.
access. No, I'm not out of order.
Yes, you are. When you
And this hasn't been
Let
properly
me finish.
handled from the get-go, and I would like to remind everybody that back in February 21st, I believe, of '24, you can't look at the minutes because they're wrong. Mr. Burkholder signed the wrong ones. They're incomplete. But we approved the planner position that he withheld for over 300 days.
It's not on topic,
Delay,
Mr.
yes, it
Evans.
is, the planner position.
Not on
It is.
topic.
Okay.
So now they're not reviewing these things coming in. They're not taking this seriously. And Mr. Burkholder, are you reviewing these applications?
You're
Are
out
you
of
do-
order,
You
Mr.
have
Evans.
access because Susan and I
you're
gave
out-
everybody access, you and Miss McKee, to
You're
review
out
these.
of order. You're out
No,
of
I'm not
order.
out of order. This is about the mismanagement and lack of oversight
Evans?
that you're providing.
Mr. Evans, when I go into Indeed and put in the name and the password that I have for Indeed, it asks for a 6-digit code. The 6-digit code is your phone number. You sent Holly a text today and asked her, was she the one getting into it? And she said no, I was.
Because there
And
was
you
a
said,
attempt
"Oh."
before.
Let her finish.
You
There-
know, if you can't work and get the 6-digit number for Indeed so that we can figure it out, then I'm not sure why.
No, how about we address things properly, and it is
Your
set
time-
up
your time's
to
up,
be
Mr.
used
Evans.
to, no.
Your time's
No,
up,
it's,
sir. I'm
so you
sorry.
don't want to know how to access it?
I'm sorry.
Google
You-
Authenticator.
You get
Try it.
with the fiscal officer. Roll call on the pending question,
The
please.
incompetence, my lord.
Mr. Evans, incompetence?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes,
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
thank you.
I will do.
And I'll
No.
vote yes, but I was saying incompetence, yes.
You were telling me I was incompetent?
That's enough. Stop.
Jeez.
The residents are right.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons, that's
No,
one
no.
of the reasons,
You're-
that's one of the reasons we limited discussion tonight. It should have been done in an hour and 15 minutes.
No.
We will revisit of limiting debate, which we can do, in order to get the people's work done, instead of constantly being under assault and attack by a singular trustee.
How about we address
Enough
the
is
item
enough. You do not have the
and
floor,
provide
sir.
documents?
You do not have the floor. I move to go into executive session per Ohio Revised Code 121.22G that has to do with the compensation of a public employee, and I do not see us, no decision will be made, in fact, this evening. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Well, don't we, it's only compensation?
That's correct.
Again, I requested an item to deal with an issue, and you want to ignore it again.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Everett, you never told us specifically what it was, and you complained previously about having an
No,
executive
I
session.
actually did say.
No, you didn't, so.
Yes.
No, you didn't. So, roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
And we will take the deputy in with us as well, since Mr. Evans refuses to go into executive session.
Without a video camera
And-
for my protection, so
And
Mr.
I
McKee
will,
doesn't
Mr. Evans,
assault
you're out
me
of,
again
you're out of
and threaten
order,
me.
you're out of order, and I will ask the fiscal officer to join us, please. And then we will come out of executive session, and we have a second issue here as well that we'll be dealing with.
Mr. Evans?
Yes, but I
Mr.
think it's
Burkholder?
wrong thing.
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
8:40.
Would have been more efficient to approve both and then just.
Mr. Evans, just, you're out of order. Now, are you going to the executive session or not? I don't know. We're back in session here.
Well, don't we have to vote to come back in session?
We will be, just a minute. I want to give the audience. Is there a motion to come out of executive session at
So moved.
8:47? I'll second that. Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Okay.
Just for statement, that wasn't the one I requested, so again, another.
Mr. Evans, you're out of
agenda
order.
item.
You're out of
Another
order, Mr.
agenda
Evans.
item
You're out
tonight.
of order, Mr. Evans. Sorry to say that.
Don't want to address.
Let's focus
needed
on the
items.
agenda here. Okay, I make a motion to go into executive session according to Ohio Revised Code 121.22G8. And that is to consider confidential information related to the marketing plans, specific business strategy, production techniques, trade secrets, or personal financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance, or to negotiations with other political subdivisions respecting requests for economic development assistance, provided that both of the following conditions apply. The information is directly related to a request for economic development assistance that is to be provided or administered under any provision of Chapter 715, 725, 1724, or 1728, or Sections 701.07, 3735.67 to 3735.70, 5709.40 to 5709.43, 5709.61 to 5709.69, 5709.73 to set 5709.75, or 5709.77 to 5709.81 of the Ohio Revised Code, or that involves public infrastructure or the extension of utility services that are directly related to an economic development project. And I was advised by the attorney to read all of this. And Section B, a unanimous quorum of the public body determines by a roll call vote that the executive session is necessary to protect the interests of the applicant or the possible investment or expenditure of public funds to be made in conjunction with the economic development project. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Very good. Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
No.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
We will not be able to go into executive session per the Ohio Revised Code that it was not a unanimous quorum of the public body.
I believe any abatement should be discussed out here.
Mr. Evans, you don't even know you have falsely stated what you don't even know about the executive session. And let me just say this. This was a request that the trustees have an executive session on this. This wasn't my decision, this was a request, and I'm obligated to bring those requests to the full board and to respect the request. So that's it. Unfortunately, that we don't have a unanimous decision. I'm sorry, gentlemen. We will move on. Announcements and trustee comments. Ms. McKee?
Yes, I want to discuss laptop, and we have an administrator starting here in the next couple of weeks on the 28th, and he will be a power user. You know, he does a lot of, not just HR, but does a lot of graph data. Mr. Evans talked about having some moving files and just a lot of stuff. He's very technology driven. He knows a lot about the system that we discussed excuse me, earlier in this meeting. And I would like to see us purchase these 2 laptops for him, and we should always have an extra one on hand in case we do have a laptop that needs to be repaired and we're down one. But there was a proposal of laptop option 2 in with the AI feature, and that was in your packet there, and I would like to see that we make a motion to try to approve those 2, so our new administrator that starts on the 28th will have a new laptop.
Ms. McKee, I absolutely agree with you, but I don't feel comfortable doing it under trustee comments or announcements, and hopefully I can have a chat with Mr. Spurgeon and we can expedite that once he gets on board. He will be here the 28th.
Yeah, just so
prior to the meeting, but I concur with you that this is something we've been all wanted to do and reconfigure as quickly as possible. Do you have our next meeting? I'll give you more time, but our next trustee meeting, regular meeting, will be Wednesday, May 7th, because of the election 2025. It will be a regular meeting because it was set during the organizational meeting back in January.
Yeah, and I just wanted to also bring up the fact that I had a chance to read some of the case in regards to Miss Jackie here and Steve Woods. I was able to read the report that was put out, and I just have some concerns. And the concern that I have is for the trustees as well as the residents coming into this building. Mr. Evans, I want to quote something that you said in your hearing that you had in regards.
Let's be very careful that we don't.
This is public record, Mr.
I understand, but I want to treat
it's public
everyone
record,
fairly.
But I'm treating people fairly, and the fairly is making sure that we are protected in this township. And if there are, Mr. Evans said he felt threatened, right? Is that true, Mr. Evans?
I was threatened.
Okay.
Point of order.
Okay, he said, I stated to other deputies that Stephen Sly, in my opinion, is anybody comes in and out of this township. And he seems to be a type that something could happen in the township. If he feels threatened, Mr. Evans, I would ask that we as a board put things in place that could protect you and also protect the residents here. So I would ask that we would to try to make some kind of decision as a board what we can put in place to protect Mr. Evans and as the board, as a trustee, as well as residents. Now, example today, the sheriffs weren't here with the full meeting. They came in when they could get here, and they're not our regular duty deputies that we have here. So what can we do as a board to make sure that Mr. Evans is protected?
Well, we'll have to take that up at a later time. So, Mr. Evans, what do you have? Let's wrap this up.
One of the things I've requested is a camera in that room where I've been threatened previously by Miss McKee.
Mr. Evans,
no, it's happened, and And it's a problem. And like I said, the only reason that I recorded, and I actually told the board, Mr. Burkholder, you lied, saying I did not.
You're out of order
I did
again.
not
You
tell the
cannot
board.
unwind
We
a
have that
fellow
on
trustee.
video, but this is just nonsense after nonsense of Mr. Hanson saying that I'm holding up the records request. No, I forwarded it to the fiscal officer saying, please have this reviewed. I believe it's too broad or not. Let it get released or whatever. There's 0 emails I'm holding up because there's access to those emails that the fiscal officer can get, that the board president can get, and there's nothing held up. And the only thing I've asked for is for the prosecutor to review it, because they're not just my records, they're the township records. But again, it's just a lot of lies by people that are politically motivated. But I would also like to say that there was a statement today that development pays for development. What was left out is that they tried to double, and I think somebody mentioned this, that, Mr. Hanson said that we could have had an opportunity for a JED to get money, but what they wanted to do is double the TIF.
Mr.
So
Evans.
the school would be out an additional $3.6 million and the fire department $1 million
Mr. Evans.
to get a little bit of
Mr.
that
Evans.
income. No, this is my time.
You're
You gave Ms.
campaigning.
McKee
You're
a lot of
campaigning.
time. No, I'm not. This is the truth. And this is something that you used to be against too before you flipped. But these
Compose
giveaways
yourself.
are putting the tax burden on the backs of residents. And that was what I said. If we're going to talk about abatements, which this executive session was about, do it in public. It's the public fund.
Mr. Evans, we never went into executive session.
No, you wanted to.
No,
And
I
what I'm
didn't.
saying, no, this is my time. You create this agenda. You control this agenda. There's nothing on here that you allow that you don't want, or you don't. It's ridiculous. No, I'm getting upset for the people that have these issues they've been dealing with. Some people are talking about moving because you're not addressing the issues.
Okay.
That's a
You got
real
anything
problem
else?
after 15 months.
You're repeating yourself.
No, I'm not.
Are you done? You said it all throughout the meeting.
So many people are
Waste-
done with your mismanagement.
You're wasting a lot of time. So anyways, thank you all for coming. I do apologize. That's one of the reasons we've tried to limit debate, to make these a little calmer and more rational. But again, appreciate you coming again, May 7th. And moved by Mr. Evans.
I'll second.
And seconded by Ms. McKee. Roll call, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Burkholder?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Thank you.
8:58.
Thank you. That sounds lucky, doesn't it? Maybe.
Those deals are, I need to talk to Brian Davis.
Brian Davis?
Because on those,